His early starts, Matt Manning would have a fastball around 91, 92 in the early innings, and it would gradually build up, and we would see it in the 97 range, maybe in the fourth and fifth. He has come out in the last couple with a little bit more pop there to start in the first. That one missed at 94. Now the payoff. Grounded to second base, but into the shift for Zach Short. And down go the Angels. Good start for Matt Manning. Here comes Detroit. Robbie Grossman leads things off. Good start for Matt Manning. Let's hope his offense can get him some early run production. Here's the Tigers lineup. Robbie Grossman, Jonathan Schoop, and Jeimer Candelario before you get to Miguel Cabrera. Daz Cameron, first game back since July 4th against the White Sox, and he's batting fifth. And it's new for Short and Garneau as well.
And on the mound for your Angels is Jose Quintana. Now he's got a three-pitch mix. Shep's got a fastball, gets up to 93. Really likes to use the outside part of the plate because that fastball tells away from the right-hander. Look for the Tigers to stay inside the baseball and use the big part of the field, right center, against this young man.
First time he's appeared against the Tigers this year, but his 20th career start against Detroit.
Now he will use his curveball and a slider. Curveball not that effective. Hitters are hitting well over 400 against that pitch. So he's more of a two-pitch mix pitcher where he's going to go fastball, changeup, and try to get the Tigers to expand their zone.
Does that mean, as a hitter, you're specifically looking for one pitch, one area, or both?
Well, a little bit of both. I'm going to hit to my strength against this young man, but at the same time, I'm also going to respect the fact that he does want to get me to chase pitches out of the zone, so I'm going to keyhole him early and often.
Up the middle, but Fletcher has good range, and he throws out Grossman. Let's look at the Angels defense, brought to you by Marygrove Awnings. Outfield's the same as last night with Brandon Marsh in center. Fletcher just made that play. Phil Goslin played first base last night. He's at third base tonight, and Max Stassi catches for the second night in a row. Quintana now faces Jonathan Schoop, who's 2 for 18 in his career against him. Fouls the first pitch back.
Schoop has been really good against left-handers, guys. And it's all because of his approach in the batter's box. If you notice his swing direction, it's to the big part of the field. He's got some power to all fields.
"18 homers on the season, 66 runs driven in. The latter a team best." Down the first base line, nice backhand play by Walsh, and Quintana can't hold on. Schoop is aboard with one away here in the first.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky. You'll take it.
You bet.
Oh, absolutely. It's a line drive in the books. It's a good play there, though, by Walsh getting over to that ball. And the fact that Walsh was kind of shaded towards second base, I didn't think he had a chance of even getting to that ball, let alone getting to it and being able to make a throw.
Schoop aboard thanks to the error. They charge an error to Jose Quintana. It's a good throw. It's a catchable ball. And the right score. Here's Jeimer Candelario. Candelario looking for his first hit in the series. Takes a curveball low. 0-1.
Candy, being a switch hitter, has a lot of power from the left side. Hits for a higher average from the right side.
Seems like all the Tigers switch hitters do.
They absolutely do. They have better approaches, shorter swings.
He held up, and it's 1-1.
Candy's done a really good job hitting with 2 strikes. And it's all, again, we talk about approaches and how guys attack the baseball. What are the zones that they like? Ken is a guy that likes the ball out over the plate where he can get some extension.
Grounds it foul. Candelario with hits in 10 of his last 13, even though he's yet to collect a hit in the series.
He's done a lot better job. Kenny's done a lot better job of getting himself a good pitch to hit here of late.
There goes Schoop. And a little hit and run. On a job well done. Candelario timed it perfectly. What a move by the Tigers to be aggressive and play into the hands of Miguel Cabrera.
Number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
Is today the day? Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Big swing and a miss. Cabrera has gaudy numbers against Quintana. 326 and a couple of bombs against him in his career. The 0-2. Line drive right up the middle. Base hit and an RBI single from Miguel Cabrera. He gets closer to 3,000. Now 47 hits away, and he's given the Tigers the lead.
Really good at bat there by Miggy, guys. Listen, you know he's going for the 500. He's trying to hit that home run. The first two swing, when he takes the first pitch, it's 92, bottom of the strike zone. He gets himself another fastball, but it's up, and you saw the swing. It's a big swing, but I love the adjustment that he makes there. Okay, with 2 strikes, now it's about the team. And you got to hit to the situation. Running at third base, less than 2 out, use the big part of the field, and he hits an absolute missile up the middle to drive in the Tigers' first run. That's why he's been one of the game's best hitters, because he hits the situation.
Love the unselfishness that this team plays with, and the fact that they do, like you said, understand the situation. There's Daz Cameron. This one bounces away from Stassi. Both runners move up.
Good to see Daz Cameron back here at the Major League level. Had that toe issue. Looks like Quintana gets crossed up. Stassi looked like he might have been looking for an off-speed pitch. He gets the heater.
Yeah, anytime you're catching the ball or trying to catch a fastball that way and then having a quick conversation with your pitcher, it tells you the catcher and pitcher were not on the same page there. The break for the Tigers, though, and Cameron has a 2 RBI shot here.
And again, the Tigers find themselves in a good hit, in a good position here with a run at third base, less than 2 outs. And if you're Daz Cameron here, you don't want to expand the strike zone. You want to get a pitch up and out of the plate that you can handle. With the infield drawing in on at the corners, you want to use the middle part of the field because the shortstop and the second baseman are back. So a ground ball up the middle and or a fly ball to the outfield gets the job done.
Waits on the 1-1. Low and away. I'm glad you brought up the Cabrera unselfishness, because A.J. Hinch said last night the single in the first inning is what maybe impressed him most about what Cabrera was doing, or in the second inning, I should say, but it was his first at bat. He said, look, we're playing baseball here, not home run derby. It's not an easy thing to do, and then we all want him to do it, but for him to come through that way shows you the type of teammate he is. The 2-1, a chopper to second. Fletcher has to wait for a Sunday hop. The run scores. Candelario's in. 2-0 Tigers on the bounce out by Daz Cameron.
And that's a good at bat. It's a lot of high fives when he gets into the dugout, because that's having intent, and the intent matching the situation. That's what it's about. And these guys continue to pay attention to the detail, the small things that matter the most in a win or loss, or winning or losing a ball game. And I just like that they really do, Shep. They pay attention to the small things, the details of the game. And I think moving forward, it's going to make a huge difference in where this team goes from here.
Yeah, and it's not just putting the ball in place. Where he hit the ball,
Yes.
right? That's what you're talking about with the intent. Castro stands in and looks at ball one outside. Yeah, great observation, because that's Daz Cameron giving up his at-bat to make sure he's doing what's best for the club.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. Team first, and you'll get all your numbers second. You'll get those numbers if you play the game the right way.
Castro with a bullet. Oh, nice play by Iglesias. Soft toss over to first, and he robs Castro of an RBI single. But the Tigers do score a couple. Schoop and Candelario plated thanks to Cabrera's RBI single and the bounce out from Daz Cameron. 2-0 Detroit. Early incentives by renewing your seats for the 2022 season today. Early renewal incentives expire on September 2nd, so act now. Go to tigers.com/1901 or call 313-471-BALL. We always have a ball talking to that 1901 society, don't we, Simo?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. They ask good questions, and they are passionate. Justin Upton, Joe Adell, and Brandon Marsh against Matt Manning, who's been granted a 2-0 lead.
And if you're Matt Manning here, though, you just want to attack the strike zone. You don't want to change your game plan. He's got a 2-run lead, so attack the zone. Don't give away free passes. Force these guys to swing the bat and hit their way on.
They play him to pull. Here's the 1-1. Fouled away.
Last night, Scooble really worked the inside part of the plate against Justin Upton. Justin got to one of those fastballs on the inner half, but then Scooble made the necessary adjustment, and he got filthy on him with that changeup. He elevated some fastballs and got some swings and misses. So if you're Manning, you want to stay away from him today.
That's a good point. I mean, Simo's referring to Upton's 2-run homer in the first that traveled 427 feet. I mean, it was a rocket. But then Scooble struck him out in the fourth and the fifth swinging. And you and I both agreed Scooble looked really sharp last night.
He looked really
the loss.
good.
A one-hopper right into the belly of Candelario. Takes his time and throws out Upton. That left the bat hot.
Speaking of that left the bat hot. Left the bat hot off 105 mile per hour off the bat. But look at Candy staying in there. Taking kind of off his gut there.
Yeah, that'll leave a mark.
It might,
At least it would with me.
It's definitely going to leave a mark. But he gets his man.
It would buckle me over. Here's Joe Adell. Adell 1 for 4 last night and had one hit in the series opener, but that one hit was crushed, a grand slam homer that traveled 416 feet.
Well, you can see why the Angels are high on this young man.
Yeah.
He's got some power in his bat. He's athletic. Can play infield, plays first base, also plays the outfield. Runs fairly well.
2-0 to Joe Adell. Broken bat, foul.
And Shep, I really watch and pay close attention to the swings of every hitter in the batter's box. And just watching this young man, he's just one of those guys that he's a pull hitter right now at the major level. And I think moving forward, in order for him to reach his full potential, he's going to have to be able to use that opposite way, because pitchers are going to fall in love with throwing him all speed pitches, and then also throwing him a lot of fastballs away. And if you can't cover it, they will exploit your weakness.
For sure. 2-1 to Adell. Kid's only 22 years old.
A lot of upside.
Oh, you bet. And I would guess a lot of coaches would look at him and say, man, there's a lot to work with there because of the skill set. Swung on and missed. And that includes Joe Madden and his staff, of course. Joe Madden gave Tigers fans the ultimate compliment before the game today. When Detroiters were appreciating what Ohtani did, he says, look, you can tell they know their baseball. They've been around. They're ignited by the Miguel Cabrera 500 homer chase, but they still appreciate good baseball inside 3-2. The payoff to him. Fouled away.
Like the location, Shep, of that pitch there. Even with on a 3-2 count, Manny not giving in to Adell here. You know, throwing that fastball, but he didn't throw it over the heart of the plate. Really still trying to work the corners. I believe Adell's got that will chase, though, on a real good pitch down and away.
Yeah. Another one fouled down the right field line.
Well, I asked for it down and away. I get it, but he's able to foul it off. Good location, though. Good location again there. That's one of the things I've noticed, though, about Manning. He really has done a better job of staying out of the middle of the plate. And I think that's allowed him to pitch with more confidence.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Another one grounded foul. This is where I oftentimes struggle. You're looking at a pitch and you're like, can you put him away, please? On the other hand, you give a lot of credit to the batter because of his ability to foul off pitches that he can't handle.
Well, and that's the key. That's the goal of a hitter. The goal is to try to foul off those good pitches, good pitchers' pitches. And
the payoff. What else is new?
And I know from a pitching standpoint, guys, we love to see the ability to put guys away. But we have to remember that the guy in the batter's box is just as good as that guy on the mound. I don't think we give the hitters a lot of credit or enough credit.
And it's a heck of an at-bat for Adell. He draws a 1-out walk here in the second. Stream your team live with the Bally Sports app. Get more Tigers team coverage, highlights, and full game replays. Tigers baseball on Bally Sports Detroit and the Bally Sports app, presented by T-Mobile. Tigers playing Brandon Marsh to pull. Center fielder went 1 for 4 last night. Drives one to deep right field. Reyes gets turned around. He leaps, and that ball is off the wall. Adell will race around third. The throw cut off by Schoop, and then he dropped it. Adell scores. The Angels are on the board thanks to an RBI triple from Brandon Marsh.
Well, it's a really good swing there by Walsh. And if you're Victor Reyes there, you have to make a decision. Do I have the ability to get back to the wall and catch this baseball, or do I play it off the wall? And I think Reyes got caught in between there. Shep, he's being aggressive, trying to make a play, but you have to know if you can get back there or not. And I think Reyes on that particular ball there could have stayed back, knowing that ball's over his head, stay behind it, play it off the wall. But that ball looked like, Shep, it was a home run.
It did look like it was over the yellow line, and it hit the gate that is protecting fans in right field.
But it's such a challenge for an outfielder when you're going back on the ball, because you believe in your heart that you can make the play, but you have to still play it smart.
Infield is in against Max Stassi. Kurt Suzuki started the series opener behind the plate. Stassi last night and again here this afternoon. The 1-0. Grounder to short. Zach Short on the backhand. Makes the play at first because Brandon Marsh got off third base, was running on contact. Let's look at the Marsh deep fly ball to right again, Simo, because I was wondering why the Angels wouldn't look at this.
Right, you look at it and it hit the railing above that yellow line. But Madden, maybe they didn't see it. They didn't replay it.
Maybe they didn't feel like it was clear evidence. Either way, Marsh scores to tie the ball game. There's Jose Iglesias. He saved a run in the bottom of the first. Willie Castro hit a rocket, and he was able to pick it off in the middle of the field and throw him out. Otherwise, Detroit would have had 3 runs. Instead, it's a 2-2 ball game as we head to the home half of the second. What would you do if you were able to catch career number 500 from Miguel Cabrera? Trevor Thompson talks to some folks after this. Nation from the umpires, including crew chief Hunter Wendelstedt there on your right. Well, what exactly the call, why the call was made the way it was on his RBI triple.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, you go down and you look at that on slow motion replay, and I think most people would say, yeah, you got a case.
Oh, he
for
definitely
a 2-run homer.
He
Yeah.
definitely had a case.
Yeah.
I like that he was pleading his case, but to no avail.
Yeah, I sure don't blame him. Zach Short leads off the Tigers second. Then it'll be Victor Reyes and Dustin Garneau. First start in the series for Zach Short. First start in his career against the Angels.
And Zach's been kind of going through it from an offensive standpoint.
Drives one deep left field. Maybe that'll break him out of it. Gone!
Glad to see this young man get rewarded for all the hard work. Seen him out early every single day, working on that swing, trying to work down and through the baseball. How about this swing? Take a look here, guys, where he's been working on trying to get down and through the baseball, and he does an outstanding job of it here, and he gets rewarded for it. Couldn't be more excited for this young man, given the struggles. Talking about the launch angle and working on it, Chef. He got rewarded there because of the hard work, staying down and through that baseball. Nice swing there.
And he's been picking the brains of just about everybody, not just his coaches, but Jonathan Schoop has helped him a great deal as well. Had gone 1 for his previous 34 before that home run swing to lead off the second.
Well, I love the mentorship of Jonathan Schoop.
Yeah.
Short was taking early BP. Schoop wasn't taking early BP, but he was on the top of the cage, talking him through it, watching him, critiquing him, giving him advice. I mean, that's what I love about this team here. They pull for each other. They work hard for each other.
1-1 to Reyes, swung on and missed. Yeah, that's what they get when you bring guys like Schoop and Grossman, established vets who bring them in and get that stuff done. The 1-2, chopped foul.
And Shep, we see it with the pitching staff. You see it with the Mannings and Skubal and Mize, that camaraderie, that togetherness. But we're also seeing it from a position standpoint where these guys are hanging out together. They're in the batting cages together. They're coming out for early work together and supporting each other. And I feel real good about the direction of this team.
Reyes strikes out. Let's go down to our friend Trevor Thompson. Trev?
Hey, Shepard, for today's Miller Lite Report, we want to look at the balls that are hit at Miggy's at-bats these days. You can't just grab any old random ball you might have caught in BP and try to sell it off as the real deal once he hits 500. So the authenticators have a process. They mark and number each ball. This one has the number 3, the M on it for the Miggy at-bats. And before every Miggy at-bat, the ball boy comes out, brings the umpire a set of brand new balls that'll be in play for Miggy's at-bats. The one that goes over the fence will have a certain number. They started in the mid-40s on today's game. We'll see how many he fouls off and what the actual number is when the time comes. But when the time comes, a ball for those at-bats with a number on it will help identify it for the authenticator, so you know you have the real deal when it comes to identifying the ball that went over the fence for 500 for Miguel Cabrera.
But, Trev, then you've got to get it authenticated. There has to be a sticker on it, because otherwise somebody who caught a foul ball might claim it was the real ball, right?
Exactly. They have a process for all of this, and it's pretty cool to see behind the scenes. But you're not going to be able to pawn some random ball off on these guys. That's not going to happen.
Trev's on top of everything, right?
Absolutely. Good stuff, Trev. We'll talk to you later in the broadcast. Trevor will be talking with Willie Horton during our broadcast about the passing of Bill Freehan. Jim Price, his teammate in 68, will join us. Garneau with a broken bat, single to center. That makes you feel like a Tiger right there.
Let's take a look at the location of this pitch here, right? That ball's down and off the plate away. Garneau does enough, hits it well enough to throw it out in the short center field. But again, it's about staying through the baseball, stand on it. And we talked about the Tigers' approach today. They would be trying to use the big part of the field, given that Quintana's fastball tells away from them as hitters. And so I like to see you get rewarded for having the right approach.
Another one of those veterans, Simo, who comes in and just goes about his business the right way.
Knows his role.
Yep, knows his role. Grossman, first pitch swinging, and a liner to left. What a response by the Tigers here in the second. 3 hits in the inning, 1 run home, and here comes Jonathan Schoop.
Well, you see this fastball here on the inner half. And for Grossman on this side of the plate, he does go up there early in the count trying to get the bat head out in front to do some damage. He gets a pitch he can handle, and he whistles it to left field.
He's just such a pro in the batter's box. Seems to always be in control of his at-bats. Seems to know what the pitch is trying to do to him every single at-bat.
Angels bullpen is already stirring. Aaron Sledgers is warming up, and he's the guy that A.J. Hinch was figuring would get that first nod out of the bullpen for L.A. Let's face it, Jose Quintana has not gone deep in many games at all. In 9 starts, he's only thrown 50 innings. In his last start, which was May 30th against Oakland, he only lasted 3. The Angels knew this was going to be a day they rely heavily on their bullpen.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for Quintana.
Jonathan Schoop scored the game's first run in the first. Drives 1 to left center field. Marsh coming hard, and he lets it drop in front. The bases are loaded.
Well, for the Tiger fans, you're thinking, why didn't Garneau score here? He does the right thing here at second base. You want to read it here. He's not sure if Marsh is going to get to this baseball, so you go halfway, and if he catches, you can get back. But you look at the run, the way he runs the bases here, he could not score on that pitch. He did read the ball off the bat. He saw the ball down,
But again, he just wasn't able to score. He doesn't run. He's not the quickest guy. So he can't score on that ball there.
Well,
because I really thought Marsh was going to make that play.
Yeah, look, Simo, it's a chance for a big inning.
Yeah, you don't want to run yourself into outs.
Why run yourself out of it? Exactly.
But given the break that Marsh got on that ball, Shep, I really thought he was going to get to it. And so I thought Garneau did the right thing by just going as far as he could go. And if he had to give back, I thought he had plenty of time to give back.
Joe Madden has made the move to Aaron Sledgers. He wants him for Jeimer Candelario, and the base is loaded as the Tigers run Jose Quintana out here in the second. Tomorrow and receive a free small order of curly fries. Miguel Cabrera awaits his chance. Of course, the Tigers already have 3 runs, so the curly fries are yours, by the way. Jose Quintana, fewest outs recorded in a start in 8 years for him. He gives way to Aaron Sledgers. Sledgers is a wall-side windows pitching change at 6'10". He's the tallest player in Angels history.
And he's also, well, Sledger's got a 3-pitch mix, guys. He's got a fastball, slider, changeup. Fastball sits about 90 to 93 miles per hour. He's got good depth on his slider. Changeup, he rarely throws that pitch for a strike. Tries to get hitters to chase that pitch out of the strike zone. Will throw tons and tons of sliders. That's a pitch that he feels most comfortable throwing. So look for him to attack the left-hand hitting Candelario with that pitch.
Recalled from AAA Salt Lake City yesterday. First pitch to Candelario on the inside edge. Tigers have 7 hits already in the ballgame. They had 6 in 9 yesterday.
Well, they were facing one of the game's best pitchers, so I mean, wasn't expecting a whole lot given the Shohei Ohtani's pitch.
Come on, details, my man. Candelario whips run to right. That's in front of Adele. Garneau scores. Tigers add their lead. It's now 4-2, and the bases remain loaded for Miguel Cabrera.
The designated hitter, number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
RBI single in the first. And now with the bases loaded. Low. The 1-0, tapped foul. Now the 1-1. Inside, backing him up.
Fans didn't like that at all.
They sure didn't like when he was hit by a pitch the other night, and they hated that he was walked a couple of times Tuesday.
Good hitters count here, 2-1.
Here's the 2-1. Tapped to foul. So easy to say, just be yourself, just play the game. But when you got $4.99 on your mind and thousands of people feeling the same.
Well, you can see some of the swings today, though, Shep, that I think he's starting to feel it a little bit too. Taking some big swings.
What will he get on 2-2? Fair ball down the left field line. Grossman scores. Schoop is home. Candelario rounds and burns for home. A bases clearing double for Miguel Cabrera.
And as much as we all want to see the 500 home run, we talk about the greatness of Miguel Cabrera in the batter's box, hitting to the situation, took 2 really big swings in the first 2 pitches of the at-bat. With 2 strikes, shortened himself up and starts thinking more about the team. Gets himself a double down the line here. Look at this pitcher. There's a 2-seam fastball running in on his hands. But because he's shortened up, guys, he's able to pull the hands inside and keep that ball fair down the third base line. And he clears the bases and gives the Tigers a 7-2 lead.
Daz Cameron hit by a pitch. Former teammates there, and now Miguel Cabrera closing ever so closer to Frank Robinson for number 19 all-time in career RBIs. Willie Castro is the 9th batter of the inning for Detroit. Remember, the Angels scored 2 to tie it in their half of the second. What a response by the Tigers. 5 runs home so far. Already 9 hits on the day, 7 in the inning, and Castro looks at strike 1.
And so how about the at-bats, though? The guys are thinking just pass the baton. You know, they're not taking big swings today. They're short and compact. They're hitting the ball where it's pitched, trusting the guy behind you.
Good stop by Stassi. It's 1-1 to Willie Castro, who hit it hard his first time up, but Jose Iglesias made a dazzling play to rob him of an RBI single and end the first.
And Shep, speaking of the guy's approach, you were talking to A.J. Hinch just a couple of days ago, and he talked about he would take a whole bunch of guys that just hit singles opposed to the team that strikes out and tries to hit home runs.
Although this rally was ignited by Zach Short's home run to start the inning. It's not that I don't like homers, nor does he say that, but he likes those contact guys.
Yeah, you do. I mean, those are tougher guys to get out. Not a lot of swing and misses. Not a lot of holes in a short swing.
Good at bat for Castro. It's 3-1.
Now I like this count. If I'm Willie Castro, I won't get cheated. 3-1 count.
Eight homers on the year, and he homered in the series opener. Fouled away, or rather last night. Willie Castro belted that homer last night. It traveled 365 feet. Got the Tigers to within 1 at the time.
Yeah, it was a Shohei Ohtani's hanging breaking ball that I believe he went up to the batter's box looking for. And it was sitting up on a tee for him. And he hit that ball a long way.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
He knew it right away, too. He watched it for a little bit.
There's the payoff to him. Chopper up the middle. Iglesias has it. Tries to win the race and barely does. Cameron's not going anywhere for now. Now he is.
Iglesias makes the play, opts to go to second base there. He's so special though on the defensive side.
Barely won that race though.
Barely won the race.
Here's the guy who got the inning started, Zach Short. And he did so with a 387-foot home run.
That had to feel good, though, for Short. Well, anytime you hit a homer, it feels good, but the fact that he's been struggling a little bit from the offensive side.
The 0-1 inside. The home run for Short earlier in the inning was his 6th of the season.
And he's got pop. And I think one of the things that Kubal, the hitting coach, is working on is making sure that he makes more contact. The more contact you make, the more home runs he's going to be able to hit because he has that kind of power. But he becomes a complete player because we love what he does on the defensive side. He's got range. He's got a strong arm at the shortstop position. But offensively, you wanted to see him make the necessary adjustments to use the whole field and be more of a threat in the batter's box.
Runner was on the move in the form of Willie Castro. Short fouls it back. Yeah, contact is your friend. That's what we hear all the time, right?
Just having a really good conversation with Miguel Cabrera, and that's one of the things he means. He goes, I don't know what's going on with all the lunch angle because guys are just swinging and missing. He goes, what happened to just making good contact?
So why don't more guys get that? I mean, when you have an all-time great saying that, that's confusing why more don't listen. Here's the 1-2 to Short. Right back to the mound. And the inning is over. But the Tigers strike big, led by Miguel Cabrera. A bases clearing double. And the Tigers are in front by 5. More famous moments in Detroit and baseball World Series history. Tim McCarver popping it up in 1968. Bill Freehan catches it into the arms of Mickey Lolich, and the Tigers won their 3rd World Championship, beating the Cardinals in St. Louis. And a man who was part of that team joins us, shifting from the radio booth to the TV broadcast booth, our friend Jim Price. Sorry for your loss, partner. Bill Freehan passing away at the age of 79. What kind of a man was he?
Well, I tell you, Bill was a special guy. He was tough as nails. He and I had an unbelievable relationship, and he came to play every day. He used to irritate me because I wanted to play also, you know.
Yeah.
But he's at peace now. And my communications with Pat, she feels the same way. He's at peace, and she's at peace. So this was a long struggle for him. Remember, it was either 2008 or 2013 at the fantasy camp. Pat said, Bill wants to talk to you. We went into the special room and he started talking about dementia. I said, geez, I don't know anything about it.
Base hit for Ohtani.
And Bill said the same thing. I don't know anything about it. They said I might start losing my memory. So he goes, I want you to know that because we've been such good friends. I want you to know that it has nothing to do with me, you and me personally. It has to do with the fact that this new thing that's come up, and I don't know anything about it. But of course, since then, there's been a lot learned about it. But he was such a big part of my life, big part of Mickey Stanley's life, Mickey Lolich's life, all of us fellows that were very close to him. And I have tears of joy for him because there was nobody like him, and the way he played the game, nobody played the game like Bill. He got hit, I think, it was 24 times one year.
He did, yeah.
Bill used to lock himself in, and in those days you didn't have padding. He had an old-fashioned knee guard that he put up there with no padding. That's where he'd get hit a lot.
He led the league that year. Fletcher back up the middle. Could be 2. Nice shovel pass. But Fletcher gets down the line too quickly.
But, you know, he was the heart and soul of the ball club. The great Al Kaline was our Hall of Famer. But Bill was the guy that came every day. And in those days, didn't have a lot of meetings. So Bill and I met a lot about the opposing team, talking about what they're all about. How, you know, it's an old saying that in those days that you pitch them a certain way and you play them a certain way, you know, which was really the information that we had. But we'd go over the hitters and so forth. It would just be Bill and me, and we lockered next to each other. And I wish I'd have kept the benches that we sat on. But the things that he taught me about how strong you have to be, and you know, I still have a lot of hair in my head, and Bill had a comb over, and this is so funny. In the locker room there, they had mirrors on the posts at Tiger Stadium, and he would go over there and be combed with the comb, and I'd go behind him and say, "Bill, what'd I do with all this hair?" Well, he'd chase me all around the locker room, and we'd wrestle and so forth and have a great time. And he just taught me what it's all about, how you should play the game no matter what.
Such a good player, Bill Freehan, 15 years, all here in the English D, and I know that was important for him, wasn't it?
It was important for him, and you know, he played so hard. He played hurt, and you know, there were times that I would catch second in a doubleheader. He'd play first base, and there were a lot of times that he would play first base, and I would catch against left-handed pitching. So we had a great relationship from that standpoint.
Goslin flaring it to right. And Reyes unable to get to it.
Bill would kid me sometimes. He said, "No, I don't want you to do too good now. You know, you're looking too good out there." I said, "Bill, I never look as good as you." And he always kept me close to him. And he always said, "You know, you and I are in this together. We're two catchers. We're in it together." And in those days, you had to stick together because it was so different. Things were so different.
Yeah.
But the heart and soul of Bill Freehan was that ball club.
And then we talk a lot about the player on the field, and rightfully so, because he was great.
But tell me about the person, because I got a chance to meet him, and he would come in the clubhouse, and I said gentle giant because he was so welcoming to me, and I was able to pick his brain and ask him questions about his approach in the batter's box. I could ask him about how he prepared.
Right.
But I just felt like the man he was.
He was a man's man. There's no question about it. I never met anybody like him, as strong as him, and what he was like inside. I mean, he played hurt all the time, and it was hard to get him out of the lineup, which I tried to do the best I could, because I felt proud to back up a fellow that should be in the Hall of Fame. And but you know, he taught me so much as far as calling games. He was very good at calling games, and you know, Bill had this Bill did not have a great arm, but he was quick. He had a quick release, and he was accurate with his throws. And he had this old glove. It wasn't a flex model. It was one of these old style gloves. I don't know how he caught with it, but he had very few pass balls. And I used to kid him with it. I said, "Bill, that's from 1918. You got to get a better glove." And he'd kid me, you know, and so forth, because I had a flex model. And
he won 5 Gold Gloves with it, so something was right there. And you had mentioned should be in the Hall of Fame. I concur 100%. He was the MVP runner-up in 1968. He finished third in 1967, and I would argue he was the best catcher in the American League of his generation. His bench was the National League.
Yeah, that's right.
Bill Freehan was the American League.
Well, if you look at the numbers of some of the catchers who are in the Hall of Fame, Bill shines far and above them.
A lot of them, yeah.
A lot of them. So I've been pushing for some time, you know, that he should be in the Hall of Fame. But I think the good thing about it is that I think everybody that knew him knows where he should be.
Well, Mr. Tiger, the great Al Kaline, believes wholeheartedly that his name, his number should be out there on the wall.
Well, look at this. You've got 19 career Hall of Famers who were catchers, and Bill Freehan is in the top half in a number of different categories, and more than a lot of them.
No question about it. That's why I always said that, you know, that he should be in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, it's important, I think, for me to express what you two have both asked me. What was he all about inside? And he was all about University of Michigan. We nicknamed him Big Ten Bill. because he had this way he would strut with, with his shoulders and all that, and he used to get a kick out of it.
He was a man's man. You've lost a lot of dear friends lately, and I know it's
haven't I?
Yeah, you have, and I know it's been challenging for you. You and I have had a number of conversations. It's been emotional for you, but you've been strong for so many others. We thank you very much for your time. Sorry to pull you away from the radio broadcast.
Okay.
Keep up the great work with Dan
Great
Dickerson.
to see how you guys work down there. I know it was such easy money down there.
Well, I don't know if I'd quite go that far. It's very challenging for Craig Monroe when he's got to work with me. But Jim Price,
you guys do a great job.
It's always a pleasure to work with you and alongside you. We're one big family. Thank you, friend.
Bless both of you. Bless you both.
You bet. All right. Jim Price dealing with a heavy heart, as many Detroiters are, many Tigers fans are, and really I think baseball fans in general, because just what a great player Bill Freehan truly was. Never was a me kind of guy, but all 15 years here in the city of Detroit. Special, and he'll be missed. Justin Upton strikes out to end the inning. Nice inning for Matt Manning. Tigers lead it. Perhaps in baseball history. An absolute seed from Willie Horton, and nobody blocked it better than Bill Freehan. I know what a lot of people always said. Why didn't Lou Brock slide? Thought he was going to make it. Freehan, perfect block, perfect throw. That was huge, and a huge reason why the Tigers would win the World Championship in 1968. Proud moment for all Detroiters.
Yeah, it definitely was proud, and having Willie Horton, great relationship I have with Willie Horton, being my pops. Heard a lot of great stories about Bill Freehan and what he meant to the city of Detroit.
Reyes starts the Tigers third with a base hit to right. He'll dig for two on his way, and he's in there with a head-first slide. Aggressiveness pays off in Detroit.
Take a look here at this pitch, down and in. It's a good sinking fastball there, but I love how Victor Reyes just drops the head on it. But this is what's impressive here, guys. This just tells you a lot about this team and what they're trying to do to the opposing defense. And it's applying pressure. And he got that double because right out of the box, he was running. He was pushing. He was thinking, too. And that's something that A.J. and his staff preaches. Force the defense to make plays.
I'll tell you, Simo, I just absolutely love the philosophy this team has. I know it's not wins that equal what the teams you played on, but I'm telling you, man, this mindset, the chance for it to carry over has been huge for their development.
Well, you love the athleticism, and it's on display, it seems like, every single night. They are exciting bunch to watch. They're energetic. These young players are injecting some energy into this team.
A.J. Hinch feels it, too.
Yes.
He actually said, the identity of this team, lost a little bit of that identity. Trevor Thompson will get into that here in a moment, but overall, the identity of this team needs to carry forward like this. It's contagious.
It truly has been contagious. And like I said, watching them and what they've created inside the clubhouse, you're seeing guys at the ballpark 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the game's not till 7. They don't take batting practice till 4:30, but A.J. has created such a great atmosphere and a place that you want to be. You want to be in the clubhouse early. Everybody's beating down the door to get there. So I just like the energy and I like the excitement that's around this ball club right now.
You've told me that's what made your team special. You guys wanted to be here.
I truly believe that, Shep. I truly believe it was about the camaraderie, the chemistry that we had from everybody. Everybody bought in to what Leland was selling. And we were at the ballpark. We hung out together. We pulled for each other, and I see a lot of similarities with this Tigers team.
Garneau singled in his first at-bat as a Tiger, and he scored in that 5-run second for Detroit. 2 runs in the first, 5 in the second. Already 10 hits for Detroit. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Down to our friend Trevor Thompson, more on the identity of this team and where it goes from here. Trev?
Yeah, Matt. A.J. said he was looking forward to getting Daz Cameron back in the lineup and also looking forward to when Hill and Baddoo can get back in the lineup, because he thinks the team has lost a little of that spark they had when they were really playing some really strong baseball and pushing that record up because of what they were able to do on the base paths. And having those athletes back, those elite athletes, as he said, to put pressure on the defense and on the base paths and steal bases and manufacture runs, it's something that's been missing since those three were out of the lineup, and now one is back, and when the other two pieces come back, he thinks some of that identity will return as well.
Reyes trying to steal third, but they got him.
Reyes didn't get a great jump here. And gives Stassi a lot of credit. Got rid of that ball in a hurry and got it down over.
Well, he almost got that 6'5" frame in there, Simo.
Yeah, but Gossam gets a great tag down. But you just like the aggressiveness. You know, we talked about it. You know, this team now has more athleticism. They have speed. They want to put the pressure. They want to apply pressure, and those are the things that's going to happen, though, Shep, where you're not always going to be safe, but I love the intent.
Absolutely. And look, A.J. Hinch has told us this time and time again. You've got to be willing to take those types of risks. This team was not willing to do that in the past. Now, they didn't necessarily have the talent to do it either. But they got to make a good throw to get you.
Well, I just think the days of hitting the ball out of the ballpark are behind us. I think it's more about utilizing the speed of Derek Hill, the Akil Baddoos, your Reyes, guys that can impact the game in so many different ways. And then I start to think about this ballpark and hitting here, how difficult it is to hit home runs to the big part of the field, which we're taught as hitters from a very young age. I like that they have a new philosophy of keeping the line moving, line drives, base hits. That, I believe, plays well here at Comerica Park.
What about the hit and run in the second?
Well,
Candelario,
scope on first. Situational hitting.
Right. The shift is on for Grossman. Singled and scored in the second. Taps it foul. You know, I don't know what it takes for people to think that one manager is better than another. But with what A.J. Hinch has been able to endure here in Detroit and what they've accomplished so far, okay, it's got to be in the conversation for American League Manager of the Year. I think.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I mean, he's taken a team that's rebuilding and really turned them into a average to already above. I think they're going to be above average team here soon. And it's just the way they play the game. It's the message that he sends on a day-to-day basis. Win the day. Right. Then you win. Then you try to win the series. It's kind of his mantra, be where your feet are, right?
Yeah, I like that. He said that to us today.
Yeah, he's just a great communicator.
I was talking to him about football and how it's once a week, right, and the challenges that baseball presents. It's not just mentally and physically, but getting through, playing through some injuries that Daz Cameron's going to have to deal with. And that approach. And that's something that young guys can prepare for. Casey Mize, Tarek Skubal, they're preparing for that stuff right now.
Well, that's when you have to be mentally tough. You got to mentally challenge yourself to not focus on the injury, but focus on the team and focus on how you can still be productive when you're not at your best.
Grossman finds a hole on the right side. Second hit of the day for Robbie Grossman. And he'll dig for second. And he's in there.
Well, Shep, you can tell right away the Tigers do not believe that Adell has a strong arm in right field, and they're challenging him to make throws. And here's again, hustling right out the box. He gets himself a good pitch he can handle here. Change up 92-mile-per-hour ball at the bottom of the strike zone. Hammers that ball down the right field line, and look at him right away thinking two out of the box. And, man, this is a close play here, but you love the aggressiveness of Robbie Grossman.
Simo talked about it being contagious. Reyes did it. Grossman's done it. Both taking singles and turning them into doubles here in the third. An RBI shot for Jonathan Schoop. Low and away, 1-0 to Schoop. Safe on an error and scored in the first. Singled and scored in the second. He was aboard when Miguel Cabrera delivered a 3-run double. The key hit in that 5-run second for the Tigers. Drills it, but foul.
Schoop didn't get cheated. Didn't get cheated there. A little hanging breaking ball. A little bit out front though. But you love the aggressiveness, Shep, in the batter's box. But you also love that this team has made some adjustments. They're not chasing pitches out of the strike zone. You look right here, especially with Jonathan Schoop and what he's done all season long. Most hits in the AL. He sits right there at the top.
5th, one ahead of Tim Anderson. Slowly wide of 3rd. Gosselin will throw him out. And that'll do it for the Tigers here in the 3rd. They lead it by 5 on Valley Sports. Customers and up to 3 guests can skip the line for Tigers home games. Just show your Comerica Bank card and tickets at the Comerica VIP entrance located at Gate A. Comerica Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be. We're into the 4th. Matt Manning works with a 5-run lead, and he faces Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh, and Max Stassi, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Angels lineup today.
Joe Adell in his last at-bat put together a solid at-bat against Manning, ended up earning himself a walk.
Good range by Willie Castro, and there's one away. Now a message from MGM Grand Detroit.
Go Grand at the destination that elevates every experience. Welcome back safely to MGM Grand Detroit.
Nolan Ryan jersey in the house. His jersey retired by 3 different organizations. That's something.
That is something. I got a chance to meet Nolan Ryan. Talk to him about a throwing program. How do you create, some more carry on the ball? And he talked about, kids throwing long toss. And he said so many kids throw the ball high up in the air. And he said he thinks it's important for you to work down. So you want to throw line drives, 1-hops to your target. And so I started working on that, Jeff. And I have to admit, my arm got a little stronger, got a little more carry. And I go, well, I got this from the great Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, it works.
I'll listen if you're telling me.
Absolutely.
His number retired in Texas, Houston, and with the Angels.
And again, that's one of the proud things about being a Tiger. When you can walk into the clubhouse and you see the greats, the great Willie Horton, the L.K. Lyons, Bill Freehand, those are guys that you could pick their brains and they were so willing to give you the information, Chip. Such good men of the game.
Good piece of hitting for Brandon Marsh. It's a 1-out single for the Angels center fielder. Yeah, I mean, look, Nolan Ryan, so many bring up the strikeouts, and I get it because that's a record that'll never be broken. He struck out 5,714 batters, but he did win 324 games. There's something to be said for that. Anytime you win 300 or so. And he's also a guy who has, in his career, now granted it was 27 years, but he threw 5,400 innings. I mean, that is a lot on your arm.
That is.
All right?
He had 7 no-hitters, right?
Yeah. Yep. And that's something you and I were talking about with A.J. Hinch before the game today. If he's talking with his young pitchers, Mize and Skubal and Manning, and he'll address others in spring training. Give you an idea of what it takes to pitch into October. He's not talking about September. Doesn't want them to see the finish line. He wants you to know by the time you're done in September, you make your last start this season, you're going to be roughly 80 to 90 innings fewer than Cole or Verlander before they get to the World Series or the playoffs. Then it's another, 35 if you're a 1?
If you're a 1, you're definitely around 35.
Somewhere around there. So that's what it takes. It doesn't take, hey, I finished this year. It takes more than that. Look at where those big boys are. Well over 200, and then the postseason begins.
Well, it's just creating the right mindset for these young pitchers. because he truly believes in him. And I love the relationship because you see AJ constantly talking with Casey Mize. You see him constantly talking with Scooble. And you see him talking with Manny. And he's built that rapport to where he can kid with them. They trust him. I just think all of those things, man, is just so important for a player's success. Because you have to earn it. You earn the respect of your manager, right? You have to earn that. And I mean, these young men have done that. But now they've built in a relationship with him where they can banter back and forth. Sure. They can give him a little bit, and he can take it, and he also gives it to them.
Yeah, he's got some good zingers. You got to be careful. Casey Mize, and you'll notice Casey Mize last week or so, he's been walking around and he's not happy, and that can be a good thing because he expects a lot out of himself. Manning strikes out Stassi looking, his third punch out of the day. But so does Scooble, and so does Manning. The expectations, that bar has been raised, and that's a good thing. They want to stay deep, and they want wins.
And you're going to continue to see those three guys push each other. They created a great bond in Erie when they were playing together in Double-A. And these guys watch each other's bullpens. They communicate well. As Manny almost picks off Marsh over there at first base. He's worked on that pickoff move.
I was just going to say,
he's worked on the pickoff move, and he's getting more comfortable, and he's getting better at, keeping that base runner close to first base.
Iglesias turns on one, but cranks it foul. Flew out to center his first time up. And he's 2 for 10 in the series.
Iglesias is one of those guys that he's not really trying to hit home runs, but he can get big with his swing.
He's got 8 bombs. Yeah, he's got some pop. More pop now than when he played with the Tigers.
Yeah, it was more of a slap hitter.
Yeah.
Here at the Tigers.
Right.
But you didn't really mind that because he was so dazzling on the defensive side of the ball. Had range, played with a little flair. Some didn't like it. I loved it.
Well, he could back it up.
Yeah. Plays the shortstop position with a lot of confidence, right?
Oh, yeah. And I would guess every pitcher, wanted ground balls hit to him.
Absolutely. I mean, he played with some flair. He had to play with some swag. That, again, you can rub your opposing team the wrong way, but you love it when you play with them, that he makes those plays.
3-1 to Iglesias, who hit .268 in 4.5 years with Detroit. And as you see there, the All-Star in 2015. He was second in the Rookie of the Year voting to Will Myers. He's having a nice season for San Diego. Iglesias draws a walk, who, by the way, is really struggling lately. Padres lose into the Diamondbacks, lose into the Rockies. I mean, there's probably some deep concern for San Diego.
Not a bad pitch here by Matt Manning. 93-mile-per-hour sinker, just off the edge. And if you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss.
By the way, San Diego 12 games back of the Giants' lead in the NL West.
Well, they were without Fernando Tatis Jr. for a little while. I mean, he's a big part of that lineup. I mean, he's their most productive hitter.
Well, without a doubt, but he still is second to Ohtani in home runs in all of baseball. Ohtani bends out of the way, 1-0. And he's a guy who, they wonder if they might even make a move to the outfield at some point. They still have an awful lot of talent on that San Diego team.
Yes, they do.
And the pitching is supposed to get you through that. The 1-0. But it's going to be really difficult, not just to catch the Giants, but try and leapfrog your way, because The Dodgers, who are playing much better, they're in your path to try and reach the Giants. And then you still have the wild card, and they sit second in the wild card, but they're only $1.50 up on Cincinnati for that second wild card spot. 2-0 to Ohtani.
Well, I don't think anybody expected the Giants to play as well as they've played.
No.
And how about what Buster Posey has done this season?
Incredible.
They're veteran players. Evan Longoria putting together a solid season.
Kevin Gausman's
been unreal.
Yeah. Yastrzemski's picked up where he left off. Giants are one of the brighter stories in all of baseball. Swung on and missed. It's 3-1 to Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei been very aggressive there, swinging on 3-0. He wasn't looking to hit a single there up the middle. He was not. That swing there had intent, Shep. Good pitch, though, there by Matt Manning.
7 hits this season against Detroit for Ohtani. Only 2 of them singles. The other 5 home runs. One was launched last night. One of the singles came in the 3rd. The 3-1. Grounded foul. That home run last night had everybody abuzz. It traveled 430 feet. It's powered by Google Cloud.
Well, you want to stay in on him, but that's where you can get him out. But when you leave it out over the plate, I mean, he is barreling that up with that good extension that he can get because he creates so much leverage. That ball's hit off the bat at almost 112.
Hey, listen, when he hit that, I thought that was going to hit the Bally Sports sign in right field.
Well, I was thinking Pepsi Porch. I thought we were getting 3rd deck up there.
Thought you were going Riley Green in batting practice?
Yes.
The payoff. And he walked him. Bases are loaded for Halos. A couple of walks in the inning for Matt Manning. 3 on the day, and it prompts a visit from Chris Fetter. Bid now in the Detroit Roots online auction for a chance at a dinner on the Comerica Park field. Virtual meet and greet with A.J. Hinch and a whole lot more. Proceeds benefit the Tigers Foundation. Go to tigers.com/auction. Big spot for Matt Manning. His team's up 5, but in some trouble here in the 4th.
And Shep, you talk about some of the game's greatest players or big leaguers who are in awe of Shohei Ohtani. Here's the respect here. Jonathan Scope goes over, wants to have a chat with the young man. And they're smiling, having fun. I mean, there's just so much respect.
He seems to enjoy it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like it. I like that they're embracing each other and have that mutual respect. And the superstars of the game, and I got this talking with Nico Goodrum and Derek Hill talking about Miguel Cabrera. And they talked about how he wants to be treated. Because I asked him, how was it being Miggy's teammate? And all of them said that Miggy just wants to be treated like one of the guys.
Fletcher fouls the first pitch away. Best leaders are like that.
I believe so. I believe most leaders are guys that they don't want to. They love that they are superstars, but they don't want to be treated like that. They want to be treated like just one of the guys. And Miggy enjoys playing the game, has fun playing the games, and his personality is infectious in the Tigers clubhouse and around baseball.
And the younger talent on this year's team has really, I think, infused him with more energy, don't you think?
I do believe that as well. He plays with a little more pep in his step. AJ's done a good job, though, of getting him off his feet, giving him some time at first base, just trying to keep him healthy throughout the season.
1-1, line to right. Reyes is there, and Manning leaves him loaded. Miguel Cabrera bats second in the 4th. He's already had a huge day. His number 500 in the cards today. Stick around to find out. Perfect view from the Scoreboard here in Comerica Park. Gorgeous view of this gorgeous park with a lot of folks here.
Shep, I just absolutely love this view.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be there in person, but I love it as part of our broadcast. The stomach tumbles just a little bit sometimes when I see how high that camera is, and to think that one of our teammates had to scale the scoreboard to get it there.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that scares the bejesus out of me.
Oh, somebody's a bigger man than I am.
No chance.
I'd have a better chance of jumping out of a plane.
And I'm not doing that either, Shep.
It's 2-1 to Jeimer Candelario. Candelario, then Cabrera, and then Cameron.
Not your thrill seeker like that. Adrenaline junkie. Not so much.
Yeah, find that adrenaline somewhere else, like hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball somewhere, right?
You got people bungee jumping out of planes.
Ooh, fly ball deep left center field. That ball's hammered, and that ball is gone.
Take a look here. We talked about the power from the left side. Kenny gets the ball out over the plate, and he's been doing an excellent job of staying on the baseball using the opposite field. Nice piece of hitting there.
He's reached double digits in homers. The Tigers extend their lead to 6, and here's Miguel Cabrera. One and one now. Nowhere close. It's 2-1 to Cabrera. RBI single in the first, a 3-run double in the second.
Sledges likes to throw his off-speed pitches when he's behind in the count.
The 2-1. Just missed. Stassi held it for an extra beat. 3-1. Here's the 3-1. Chops it to third. Gosling. And there's the first out in the Tigers' fourth. That'll bring up Daz Cameron.
Was watching Miggy there in that throughout that at bat, Shep, and you can see him stretching the shoulders, stretching the arms. I feel like it's tense. He's tensing up a little bit with everybody standing up. I think it's starting to get to him a little bit that he's pressing a little bit in the batter's box, trying to hit that home run right now. And
although his first 2 at bats, you wouldn't have known it.
No, you wouldn't have noticed it. But I think now he wants to do it because he wants to get it out of the way, I believe, so he can get back to just being relaxed and just enjoying the game a little bit more.
Does it matter, do you think, to any player when you see others hitting homers like Zach Short and Jeimer Candelario so far today?
Well, I don't think it matters to Miggy when you're just sitting on $4.99. I don't think it matters to him, but I think a young player, when they're seeing other guys hit home runs, they have a tendency to go to the batter's box and try to hit home runs, and you kind of get outside yourself.
The 1-2 to Daz Cameron, swung on and missed.
Sledger's throwing some really good sliders. And he's working both sides of the plate. He's starting that ball
in on the righties and having it break right on the inside part of the plate, and then to put you away, he's starting that ball on the outer half, and that ball is darting down and away from you. That's some good location, and you're going to see a lot of swings and misses on that pitch because of the location.
2 away for Willie Castro. Missed outside 1-0.
And again, when guys are not overpowering, and Sledger by no stretch of the imagination is overpowered, fastballs sits good hitting speed, 91 to 93. But he does a good job of working the edges, working the corners, and changing speeds. One of the most difficult things too, when a guy is 6'10", he creates this really good downward plane, which makes it tough to barrel up. Because you feel like you don't have much room for error against these guys.
Castro down the right field line, foul. What do you think? Swinging a better bat lately, Willie Castro?
Yeah, I think he is. He's looking more comfortable in the batter's box. But for me, I think it starts with him getting better pitches to hit.
Okay.
I mean, he's got a solid swing from both sides of the plate. Just missed hitting a double there down the right field line.
7 hits in his last 7 games. 3 of those hits have been extra base hits for Willie Castro. That included the home run last night, his 8th of the season.
And you'll see a lot of hitters, Shep, chasing pitches out of the zone when they feel late, when they feel like they're not getting there in time to be able to read the ball.
And I like your description that he's getting better pitches to hit. He's got to be similar to what he did a year ago, and that's swing at better pitches, right? So.
Right, but he's getting started early. Watch the mechanics. He's getting loaded up early enough to where when that front foot hits down, the ball is just now leaving the pitcher's hand. You can see it longer and you see it better. When you're late, everything breaks down. That's when you're going to see the head fly. You'll see the hips front fly open. And you also will chase those pitches out of the zone.
Waits on the 2-2, and here it comes. Fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Justin Upton. That ball's gone! Willie Castro with his 2nd homer in as many days, and the Tigers add on another.
Again, we talked about Willie Castro getting himself better pitches to hit, fouling off some good pitches, but I want you guys to take a look at the rhythm and the timing and how the head stays down on the baseball. Here it is right here, front foot's down. He recognizes the pitch, stays behind that ball, and the backside knocks that front side loose. That's how you stay inside the ball. That's how you drive the ball out of the ballpark, by creating that kind of hip rotation and through the ball. That's nice. That's nice, Shep.
3rd home run of the day for the Tigers. All of them solo homers. For Castro, it traveled 372 feet. Ground ball to 3rd. Gosling gobbles it up. Tigers score a couple. A solo homer for Jeimer Candelario to lead off the 4th. His 10th. And then Willie Castro goes the opposite way for his 9th. And it's a 7-run cushion for Detroit. August 27th at 7:10 right here at Comerica Park. The first 10,000 fans receive a free Tigers floppy hat. Tickets start at just $10. That's it. Visit tigers.com/tickets today. Those who have tickets have enjoyed a good one. 9-2, Tigers in front. Crooked numbers in the 1st, 2nd, and then in the 4th. We've moved to the 5th. Matt Manning still out there. He faces the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Phil Goslin's 0 for 2. He's popped up and struck out.
Well, you'd like to see Manning here go out and put up a 0, get the Tigers back in the dugout. the momentum. It just seems like right now the Tigers, they have it.
Yeah, they look good, and that's the thing that you and I were talking to A.J. Hinch about the other day. What allows your team to bounce back from disappointment? Anytime you lose, it's disappointing, right? But especially after that first game where you felt like you played well enough to win. He told us, look, that the players are really good at having a short memory. The culture is to play for the day, all right? So how do you handle success? How do you handle failure? This team's done it well at both ends of that spectrum. Gosselin down the right field line, foul.
Well, you just notice that they prepare for the day. That's what they prepare for on a consistent basis. And it shows because they don't let losses linger and they don't get too high when they win.
Right.
And Shep, I believe those are all traits of becoming a championship caliber team. The good teams, the teams that win, they don't get too high, they don't get too low. They stay the course.
They've established the right culture for sure. Now 3-2 to Phil Gosselin.
Man, he's throwing a lot more off-speed pitches. The second time through the lineup, he established that fastball. Two-seamer's been a good pitch for him today.
Gosselin already a career high in RBIs this season. He's got 30. Played first base last night. And he's at third base here today. Another 3-2. Rings him up. To Trevor Thompson for a Ram game break. Trev?
In this Ram game break, Matt, we are pleased to be joined by a Catholic Central grad, a killer on the MSU golf team, and now the U.S. Amateur Open champion, James Piot. James, that comeback win was something none of us are ever going to forget. What was it like to be you during that tournament and to hoist that trophy at the end?
It was the coolest feeling in the world. I mean, you know, you believe it in the back of your head that you got the potential to do it, but to actually do it and, you know, get to do things like this, throw out a first pitch today, that was the most nerve-wracking thing of the week. Not the USAM, but the first pitch, so it's been a great week so far.
Well, you did yourself proud as far as that goes, but outside of throwing out the first pitch here today, what have been some of the other thrills along the way since you got that trophy?
Just the people that have connected with me and talked to me. I mean, I got a shout out from Magic Johnson on Twitter today or the other day, and it's like, that guy knows my name. So it's been a blessing, the most phenomenal thing, moment of a lifetime.
Yeah, well, you Sparties certainly do stick together. Tell me what's next for you.
The college season. So about a week and a half moving back into school and getting things rolling in the fall in the UP. So I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to rolling with the boys.
And Matt, there's one thing, if you can pan out here, he's got the green shoes on. One day it'll be a green jacket, there's no doubt, right?
Here's what I want to know. Does he hit the ball as far as you do off the tee?
Well, let's ask him right now. How far are you off the tee? Matt Shepard would like to know. He wants to know if you hit the ball as far as I do.
How far off? I'd say about 300 on average.
He's got me, Matt.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know, Trev.
No, he doesn't.
I bet you it's straighter, but it looks like you got more potential than me. A little bit bigger, but, you know, take it.
As they used to say, potential is what gets you fired, Matt. Yeah, you have all the potential in the world. What are you going to do with it? That's the question.
My guess is his short game is better, the approach game is better, but you can drive it with the best one. Congratulations to him. That's well done. And Trev, he's going to get a chance to play at Augusta. He's playing in the U.S. Open. He's playing for the old championship. You know, it's amazing.
And Matt, he just told us he's now a lifetime member at Oakmount thanks to that win too. So that's a pretty sweet party gift as well. Oh. Maybe we can hit him up for a round. What do you think?
Absolutely, we're definitely
around on the road with this guy, James Piot, for sure.
I will not be afraid to ask.
You guys got it. Yeah.
We've been invited, Matt.
That's awesome.
Shep, tell him we're going to hold him to it.
Yeah. We're going to hold you to it, Simo says. Congrats on behalf of all of us, James. Thanks for this. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Joe Madden.
Right,
Joe Madden is furious because he thought Justin Upton got hit here. And it wasn't really close. Home plate umpire is Quinn Wolcott.
And I think this is more about the strike zone, because there's been a lot of barking up here. But then you watch, because you're watching this, and it does look like he's hit Greiner's glove.
Oh, he's
sorry, d'Arnaud.
Yeah, he's complaining that Upton might be complaining here that there was catcher interference.
That's exactly what he's complaining about.
Right.
But they've also been chirping about the strike zone. Gosselin didn't like that third strike call to him, and they've kind of been barking all game long at home plate umpire.
Even if it is an argument about catcher's interference, it's not a reviewable play, I don't believe. Maybe a rules check here. Now, actually, catcher's interference is reviewable. Batter interference is not. So catcher's interference is reviewable.
And it did look like, or appear to me, that the end of Upton bat hit Garneau's glove. Did you see it that way?
Well, Upton's taking a long look at the scoreboard where they're showing the replay right now. Another look from our angle here on the side. Yeah, he did. He hit it. So Upton granted first base. Walsh moved up to second after Garneau dropped it anyway. So it's restored. Now the explanation to A.J. Hinch. A.J. Hinch just got tossed. And you could hear him say, "You're trying to make it about me, and this is not about me." And he's giving it to Hunter Wendelstedt right now, getting his money's worth.
He definitely got his money's worth there.
That's the first Tigers ejection for A.J. Hinch. George Lombard will take over. So originally the announcement was that it was hit by a pitch, but no, it was catcher's interference. So Upton at first, Walsh at second. One away. Order restored. Joe Adell stands in against Matt Manning. For A.J. Hinch, it is his 17th career ejection and the first since April of 2019. Adell pops it foul.
And Chip, this was just, I don't know why it would fire me up, but it would fire me up when Skip, Jim Leyland, would go out and he'd fight for the boys and he'd fight for his team. It's just something about the manager arguing and fighting for his guys and just trying to get it right that just resonated with me.
Adell laid on a fastball. Yeah, it's not something that A.J. Hinch wants to do. He wants to be in the dugout, but he made a point, and he's there to fight for his guys on a regular basis.
And the guys will respond by continuing to fight for him every single day.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that's the makings, I think, of a great coach or manager. How does your team respond to the message you're relaying? And this team has done that time and time again. The 0-2 to Adell. High and inside. Adell walked and scored in the second, and he grounded to second in the fourth. Both Angels runs coming in the second. The Tigers scored 2 in the first, 5 in the second, 2 in the fourth. The 1-2. Fouled away. When Adell drew that walk in the second against Manning, it was a 10-pitch at bat.
Which makes him very comfortable in the batter's box. He's seen all the pitches in Manning's arsenal, so he's got a really good idea of what Manning's trying to do to him. So if you're Manning here, you've got 1-2 count. Try to expand the strike zone. Maybe a high fastball here to see if you can change his eye level.
Popped it up. Infield fly rule in effect. 2 away.
Instead, he throws a real nice slider down in the strike zone, down and away.
And here comes George Lombard. He's making the move. Manning's day is over after 4 2/3. Here comes Derek Holland. Manning's complete line when we come back, and a good start for Detroit.
Manning here, not his best stuff today, but you liked what you saw from the secondary pitches. He threw some really good sliders down and away. Still was able to locate that fastball on the outer half. And I just like the way he mixed up his pitches today. Would have liked to be a little bit more consistent in the strike zone. But again, these guys continue to develop, continue to grow, and he can take the positive that his secondary pitches were a lot better today than they've been in his last few outings.
Saw the 91 pitches there, Simo. 54 fastballs, 10 changeups, and as you mentioned, the off-speed stuff very effective. Didn't throw a lot of curveballs today. He's got a curveball that's a little underrated. Only 4 curves so far today. Here's Brandon Marsh, stands in with runners at first and second, and a first pitch strike from Derek Holland. It's a wall side windows pitching change, and Holland was pretty darn good last time out. Saw him against Cleveland on Sunday and threw 3 scoreless innings.
Derek Holland's got a fastball too, sits about 94, 95 miles per hour. Doesn't give in to the hitter. He's a crafty lefty that really works the edges, changes speeds, not afraid to pitch inside.
Uptick in the fastball though this year from last. Swung on and missed 1 and 2 to Brandon Marsh, who had an RBI triple in the second and a single in the fourth.
And Holland's two-seam fastball, it's a sinking fastball. It's got good arm side run, and it runs in on the left-handers, obviously away from the righties. But he also will spin it. He'll throw him a slider. Good time to throw one down the way here.
He sits him down. Oh, a foul tipped it out of the glove of Garneau.
And Chip, that's one of the things I've seen with Holland. He established that fastball inside, and then he's able to get to that slider that's running away from the left-hander. And Marsh there just able to foul that pitch off, but that's a good pitch there by Derek Holland.
The 1-2. Got him. Derek Holland was asked to do a job, and he got it done. You can win your own error-free fan experience. Fill out your MLB Oops bracket at MLB.com/bracket for your chance to win. Restrictions do apply. See official rules. Don't get angry about it like Tommy Lasorda. Another nice crowd here at Comerica Park. They're enjoying the scenery because of the Tigers' 9-2 lead. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Victor Reyes, Justin Garneau, and then top of the order for Robbie Grossman. Tigers have scored in 3 of the 4 innings so far. Reyes doubled to lead off the 3rd.
Yeah, he got a fastball down in the zone. Kind of more of the inner half of the plate. That good, where lefties really like that ball. And he just dropped the head on it.
Half swing to make it 1-2. 9 runs on 13 hits for the Tigers. They had 13 hits combined in the first 2 games. Fly ball center field. Marsh retires Reyes, 1 away.
We've seen some good swings today, especially on that ball out over the plate. Guys stand inside the ball, hitting that ball out to left field.
Is that a good swing right there?
That's a really good swing
what
there,
makes it a
especially
good
with
swing?
2 strikes there. He's shortened up. That ball's on the inner half. So many guys would just roll it over, but he held on to the angle, fighting for that palm up, palm down, which is a power position that that's a quality of bat. When you leave, take a look here. He's fighting to get those hands to that good power position and catch that ball out front, and he just got beat a little bit. But that's okay with 2 strikes, because you want to let it get deep, because you want to protect against the all-speed pitches.
Would have been a bad swing if he rolls that over to
Yes.
second base into the shift. Okay.
Absolutely. It tells me that he was just thinking he's going to try to catch it out in front with 2 strikes, and that's just for that. Just not a. Those are not good at bats when you found yourself searching with 2 strikes.
So it's not just the swing; it's the mindset you're
It's
talking
the
about.
mindset as well. And that's something that I just feel like with Kubal, these guys are continue to work on. They are better hitters with 2 strikes. They just don't give in to the pitcher.
Garneau sharply to 3rd. Goslin takes care of him, 2 away. Now a word from the Home Depot.
Join Pro Extra to save time, save money, and get rewarded. Heavy hitters score with the Home Depot's Built for Pros loyalty program.
2 away for Robbie Grossman. A.J. Hinch talks about that an awful lot, right? The intent. What's your intent? I mean, if the mistake matches the intent, he's okay with that.
He's definitely okay with it. And then, guys, you hear us talk so much about letting the baseball get deep. Now, I'm not talking about deep to the like where it's behind you or it's in the middle of your body. You're still catching that ball out off your front foot. Now, by thinking let it get deep, what you do is you allow yourself to put your body in a position to stay square longer, and it puts you in a position to be able to handle all-speed pitches.
That'll roll foul. Grossman is 2 for 3. Another solid day for Robbie Grossman. He singled and scored in the 2nd, and he doubled in the 3rd. As many hits today against the Angels for Robbie Grossman than he has had all season long against LA.
Well, he's got some better pitches to hit too.
One thing you don't worry about with Grossman, the approach and the ability to fight through this season. There's a misconception. A.J. Hinch told you and I this morning. There's a misconception that, you know, you always feel good, even after off days. Well, off days don't automatically reset the gas tank.
No, it don't.
Grossman doesn't get many off days, and yet he is a consistent performer. Jonathan Scope, Jeimer Candelario, everyday guys as well.
Yeah, we would call that you grind it out, because not every day you're going to feel your best. But the fact that these guys are able to grind out their bats, grind out making plays, but also trusting their routine, right? They trust their routine, and that's something that they can hold their hats on. And when you have a good approach and a good routine, this allows you to still be productive even when you don't feel your best.
And you're going to have that feeling quite a bit, I would guess.
Oh, throughout the season, you definitely have it. You're fighting yourself mentally all season long because there's so much failure in the game.
The payoff to Grossman. He draws a career-high 76th walk of the year. It has been a career year, a brilliant signing by the Tigers. He's going to have a career high in hits when all is said and done. And he's already checked the box on homers, RBIs, walks, and stolen bases as well.
Well, you just love him at the top of that batting order, and that's where he was sitting. I mean, he was at the top of the batting order most of the season. And he's back there today with Akil Baddoo being out. But it's just he sets the tone for the entire lineup.
Tries to steal a base, easily done standing up. It's his 14th swipe of the year. Never let off the gas.
Well, you always, it does raise the question, you know, okay, the Tigers are up 7-2, but it's still the 5th inning. There's a lot of ball game to be played. So if you're the Angels, you got to hold him on, or the Tigers have to take that base.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, if they're going to give me 90 feet and allow me to get the scoring position, I'm going to take it.
Simo, if you're giving me the 6-foot putt, I'm taking it.
Well, I'm not giving you a 6-foot putt.
1-1 to Schoop. Swallowed up by Stassi. They just weren't paying attention to him. They're playing behind him. You want it? Take it. Grossman obliges.
I'm really surprised there, though. I'm surprised Walsh wasn't holding Grossman on. I mean, it's still early. They've got a lot of games left, a lot of outs left. And if you're going to just give, like I said, give me 90 feet.
Yeah, what's the strategy behind that? Why would you hold him on?
I'm not really sure right there because, again, it's before the 5th inning. Well, it is the 5th inning. They say after the 5th inning. I mean, the baseball unsung rules of the game.
Yeah.
After the 5th inning, when you're up by several runs, you're not supposed to take the base. But I just don't really agree with that.
Yeah, I need to find out who's writing the rules first. Low and inside, and it's 3-1 to Jonathan Schoop. We were joking about that with A.J. Hinch before the game today about who's writing those unwritten rules, right? Who's making those up? Let's check that bio first before we start buying in. The 3-1 chopped foul. Schoop scored a couple of times. 1 for 3, safe out on error, and he's singled in the second. No work in the Angels bullpen. Here's the payoff. Fair ball by a diving Phil Gosselin. That's an RBI double for Jonathan Schoop. The Tigers have reached double figures.
Just another good at bat by this Tigers offense as they continue to put on a hitting clinic. I mean, they're putting on an absolute hitting display here. There's a sinking fastball, 91 again at the bottom of the strike zone. And Schoop able to pull the hands in and keep that ball there fair. And drives in another run. He's a hitting machine.
67 RBIs now for Jonathan Schoop. Inning stays alive for Jeimer Candelario. But before Candelario can step into the box, Joe Maddon wants a pitching change. Andrew Wantz has been warming up. He's expected to get Candelario with a runner at second, and the Tigers up big. Now time for the Bolt EUV electric player. According to MLB Pipeline, the Tigers have 2 of the top 10 prospects in all of baseball. They and Baltimore are the only franchises to can say such a thing. Spencer Torkelson, number 4. And Riley Green has moved up and is now number 7. Love following those guys all summer long. We followed them earning the right from Erie to Toledo. And actually, Torkelson has made the jump twice because he started this summer in West Michigan. And now, not far away, watching them at Toledo thrive a little bit. Ryan Kreidler is thriving down there at the shortstop position. A.J. Hinch has said as much. Torkelson last night for Toledo, 2 for 4 in a very good lineup. Riley Green 1 for 4. Matthew Boyd pitched in that game. 3 scoreless. That's a great sign. Kreidler, by the way, jumps to number 10 on the Tigers list. Not MLB's, but the Tigers prospects.
I'm going to take that drive, Shep, down 75 now to go see those young men. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to watching them at the major league level, no question about it. And they're on their way. They have done an outstanding job all season long in their development. But I want to go see them in person.
Yeah, they handled themselves really well.
We
were on that call with them the other day when they got promoted. Always impressed at their maturity. 0-1 to Candelario. Foul. Boy, making a bid down the third base line for another extra base hit. Six extra base hits for the Tigers so far today, including a Candelario solo homer to lead off the 4th.
Yeah, the Tigers really doing a good job of staying on the ball, hitting the ball where it's pitched today.
Ripped foul. Boy, he's seeing it, isn't he?
He really is. He's seeing the ball. He's very comfortable there. Doesn't panic when he gets to 2 strikes.
Here comes the 0-2. Chopper into the shift. Iglesias, quick hands. And the Tigers are out in the 5th. But they do score another run thanks to the RBI double from Jonathan Schoop. They're up 8, and Dan Petrie, our teammate, joins us on the other side. Bill Freehan, an 11-time All-Star. He won 5 Gold Gloves. He was instrumental in the Tigers World Championship in 1968, and he spent 15 glorious seasons with the Old English D. Bill Freehan passing away peacefully last night with his family by his side at his favorite place, Walloon Lake. He was 79. Our friend Dan Petrie joins us here in the booth, and I know he meant an awful lot to you. What was your relationship like, and why did he mean so much to you?
Yeah, boy, it's been a nice ball game, and I've spent the other times thinking about, in between pitches, etc., my moments with him and his family and everything, and that's why I've enjoyed that part of it, you know, to say this is a celebration of his life. I mourned him this morning, and now I'm kind of celebrating all the memories that I have. And you know, I got to coach 3 of his grandsons, and Bill would always show up to watch them, you know, when he was healthy. And you know, in some years when his health started to decline, you know, he would still show up and sit in the car, and I would in between games I would go out and see him, and you know, he would talk and just how proud he was of his grandsons. And
line drive right at Willie Castro, 1 away.
And just, you know, all the special memories I had of him catching bullpens of me as a young Tiger down in Lakeland spring training. And you know, they were talking about his mitt, you know, how he used that big pillow, you know, instead of the hinge glove that they have now. And I remember, you know, being full of it back, you know, and just, man, I can throw hard and all that kind of stuff, and I'm throwing to Bill Freehan, I'll show him, you know, and he's retired, right? And I'm throwing, and he just, just catch it and throw it back. Like, I mean, this is like, I could catch you with a cotton ball. You know? I don't need it, you know. But, you know, just the conversations like that. And I remember trying to learn a curveball, and I remember, Dan, your curveball goes up before it goes down. so you know, he'd help me through a lot of those things. So not only did he mean a lot to Lance Parrish in developing catchers, but with pitchers too, because he caught some of the best.
Well, also, did he talk to you about how to approach different hitters, or what were some of the things that he taught you from a pitching standpoint, how to attack hitters?
You know, he never did that part of it. You know, I know one time in spring training I had a rough outing, and he was in getting ready to change clothes, and you know, he said something like, "Hey, hang in there," or something like that, and you know, you don't want to hear that. It's like, you know, and I know I was not the friendliest to him, and it made me feel so bad, you know, and I stewed on it all night, and I went in the next day and said, "Geez, Bill, I'm so sorry. I kind of snapped at you, was short and everything." And he goes, "Man, I've been there several times. I know what it is. You kind of take it home and go, you know, cool off a little bit, you know." So it's just the greatest guy, and he knew what it was like to be a ball player and succeed and fail.
What do you think he meant to Tigers fans in general?
I really think that, you know, when you talk about Al Kaline, Mr. Tiger, and everything, maybe that's like one step down, or, you know, right behind him. I mean, you hear him wanting to be out on the wall and in the Hall of Fame, and that's just not former players. That is Tiger fans and what they think.
Just over the head of Castro. Angels go station to station. They have the bases loaded here against Derek Holland in the 6th.
I think about, you know, players nowadays, how different guys leave. They play for a city, play for a team, and then all of a sudden you leave the Tigers, and then you're a Cub, or then you go to the Pirates. How about Bill Freehan, though? What he meant to the city of Detroit?
And you know, his days at U of M, you know, and I love seeing those you know, pictures of him in the football uniform, and he played, you know, certainly for the baseball team over there. And yeah, he meant a lot to this state, this city, and this ball club.
And just getting a chance to play 15 years for your hometown team.
There's something to be said for that. There's no question. We'll continue the conversation on the other side. Derek Holland is out. Joe Jimenez being called upon here in the 6th. Baseball players in the history of this glorious sport. Bill Freehan, among the best catchers. His resume really needs no explaining, but among Tigers catchers all time, he is among the best. Our friend Dan Petrie played with another guy who's in that conversation, Lance Parrish, but Bill Freehan was instrumental in Lance Parrish's progress and his growth, and I know he was instrumental in your life as well. Besides the baseball aspect, what about the personal side of things? What did he mean to you there?
Well, you know, and I remember playing golf with him several times, and you know, that's where you really get to know somebody, riding in the same cart. So that was fun down in spring training. But my biggest memories are just, and these are recent, just coaching his grandsons and seeing him out there and seeing the joy that those grandsons would bring him, you know, on the baseball field. And you know, Blaze, the oldest one that I coached, had signed with the Tigers and spent several good years before he had some concussion problem. Made some all-star teams down in the minor leagues, and they all played college ball at MSU and U of M.
Yeah, Blaze actually, and they're friends of ours too, family friends of ours. Blaze actually is the all-time leader in doubles in Michigan State history. Will, the second grandson, followed Blaze to MSU, and then Harrison, the younger of the three, actually diverted from East Lansing and went to Ann Arbor to play for Michigan.
And what number did he wear at Michigan? That was the, you know, in honor of Grandpa, was 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, you know, it was hard to see him in declining health, and I think that's what the family is like, stood by his side the whole time and saw that, just how much he was fighting and suffering, you know.
Good stop by Garneau to keep the bases loaded. I think that's what makes it even more special. The family, you guys sure have that feeling more than I do, but the family atmosphere that the Tigers have, and the players and the ex-players, it doesn't matter whether you played with them or not. The feeling you have toward one another is special.
And that's a really good point. You know, I was watching and listening to Jim Price, and, you know, I didn't play with Bill Freehan, but you know what? When I was growing up in California, I certainly knew who he was, and I had a Sports Illustrated with him being on the cover in his you know, all-star catching equipment.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
Remember that? Yeah, the red, white with the
that.
stars on it. I mean, and I always, and then here I get to meet him, and you know, so it's a fraternity. It's just like with Simo. You know, it's like, you know, I didn't play with Simo, but it's just that I watched him play. I liked him as a player, and you just really become fond of people that you've shared this game with.
It's off the leg of Jimenez. Everybody's safe, and the Angels get another run, their third of the day.
Dan, to your point, it's about the Old English D.
Yeah.
Proudness, because we all were proud to wear this Old English D. And I was telling the story earlier that, you know, you could walk into the clubhouse. I could go into the clubhouse, and there's Mr. K, the greatest Tiger of all time. There's Bill Freehan. There's Willie Horton. I mean, some of the greatest players that's put on this uniform. I get to share that moment, that feeling of respect, first of all, for the Old English D. But the pride is what really stands out, because we, you know, playing for Alan Trammell and the Kirk Gibson, you know, getting a chance to see Sweet Lou, you know, getting to talk to him. Man, everything about being a Tiger, I absolutely loved.
Well, and you brought up the point, too, about picking their brains and asking them, you know, certain questions, and you'd be a fool not to.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. Like, I've got to go over here to their locker and ask them any and everything about how and why they were able to be so successful. And I took a lot. I learned a lot. And I love that they were humble stars of the game, and they were willing to try to help me out, help me be the best player that I could possibly be.
2-0 to Jared Walsh. What was it like in '84, Dan, when you're chasing to become the next team that was champion here for the Tigers, and Bill Freehan was on the last? What was that relationship like with those teams as you try to almost supplant that last championship?
I just know that, and maybe I'm a little bit different, but any time that they would walk in that locker room, I just felt like a little kid again. I mean, and so I almost had them up on a pedestal, even though in '84, you know, we're trying to be the next world champion, and they were all behind us. Every one of them would come in, and there was no, hey, they're gonna, you know, win and they're going to be talked about. No, they're just as beloved as any team in Tiger history.
Jimenez walks in a run. Ohtani scores. Bases remain loaded. Still only one away. And Chris Fetter needs a chat with Joe Jimenez before Justin Upton comes in.
Joe's been struggling with his command here of late. What are you seeing, Dan?
No, and you're right. There's times that he's sharp, and other times where it's not. And you know, I know that, you know, he's got that little timing, the glove pat, and I know they're trying to maybe get rid of that a little bit.
Trying to eliminate it, right?
And so it's all about timing, right? It's all about that foot strike, you know, and Michael Fulmer and changing his delivery. It's simplified, you know, when his front foot lands and when he delivers. It's repeating your delivery time after time after time. So if you're, you know, patting a little bit like that, you might not always be able to, you know, to repeat your delivery and be as sharp as you'd like.
He's got to face Justin Upton with the bases loaded and only one away. 4 singles in the inning, 2 of them infield singles. After that conference on the mound, I'm sure you guys saw it, Jeimer Candelario gave a very firm let's go to Joe Jimenez. It's another graduating point, I think, in Jeimer Candelario's career as he becomes more and more of a leader.
Well, and that's exactly what it is, Shep. He's becoming more of a leader of this team. And he also wants to push Joe Jimenez here. You can very easily be lax in your thinking and your mindset here, given the fact that the Tigers have a big lead here. And maybe the focus and the intensity is not where he probably would want it to be. And so maybe Jamie's just reminding him, just a reminder of, let's go. Joe wants to be out there. He wants to, be the best he can be. And he's worked hard to get back in the good graces of being a guy that A.J. Hinch can lean on.
And don't think any inning isn't important. Just because you're up 6 runs now doesn't mean these aren't important outs.
No, and you were talking about there's a lot of ball game left.
Yeah.
And so, they need to, hey, these are big outs. And I know that I always liked, well, I didn't like being struggling, but hearing from one of the players, and it meant a lot. Like Lou Whitaker hardly ever said anything. But you know what? If he said something to me, it was like, I better get it done, because now I've really made Lou mad.
He walks in another. Kyle Funkhauser has been warming, and suddenly it's a 10-5 Tigers lead. And George Lombard's seen enough. He's going to make the move. He wants Kyle Funkhauser. Joe Jimenez felt like he was getting squeezed a little bit, so he has a few words for Quinn Wolcott. It's a short day for Joe Jimenez, and they just tossed him. And George Lombard will go over and try to help out his player. Joe Jimenez is still arguing. Wolcott's like, you don't argue balls and strikes.
Yeah, but it gets frustrating for a pitcher when they're throwing good pitches and they're close, and they want the call. And listen, it's not an easy job behind the plate, and Wolcott has done the best he's could today, but he's missed some calls today. Let's just be honest. He's missed some.
Yep. And Wolcott gave him a nod. He understands. They totally get it. And we hope you understand the apology for some foul language as well. It's 10-5 Tigers. Stay with us. Tigers dip into the bullpen again. Kyle Funkhauser, the third arm out of the pen. Matt Manning started, lasted 4 2/3. Piecing it together here, trying to finish off the Angels. 3 runs so far here in the Angels' 6th. Dangerous hitter in Joe Adell facing Kyle Funkhauser. This is a Wallside Windows pitching change. Funkhauser's 39th appearance this season.
Well, I like this matchup with Funkhauser on the mound. He's got a real nice 2-seam fastball that gets up to 96, 97 miles per hour. And right now you need that ground ball, and that's exactly what the 2-seamer does for you.
Yeah, remember, though, Adell had the grand slam in the series opener off Gregory Soto in the 9th.
And so he can catch up to a fastball, especially when it's straight. Soto left with 97 mile per hour fastball out over the plate, and Adell did hit it out to left center. But I like the movement, Shep, on Funkhauser's 2-seamer that has that late run in on that right-handed hitter's hands. And it's also a pitch that he likes to keep at the bottom of the zone.
Good sliding save by Garneau.
That I believe can get that ground ball that the Tigers need to get out of this inning.
Boy, fellas, those are not found in the box score, but Garneau's ability to keep that ball in front, especially since he's making his first start of the year, tells you something about his prep work. It's something that A.J. Hinch lauded before the game.
Yeah, that's that trust factor, and that's why he's behind there.
The 1-2. Ground ball to short. They got to hurry. Not in time to get Joe Adell. Another run home for the Angels.
Zach Short gets the ball over to Castro in time, but give Adell some credit. I mean, he runs better than I thought there. He got down the line in a hurry.
Yeah, he's a good-looking athlete. And, he was that other one that had that 10-pitch at bat in the second inning where he drew the walk that drove up Matt Manning's pitch count. I mean, he's been a pain in the Tigers' side all day today, or the pitching staff, too, fouling off all those pitches.
This is the 9th batter of the inning. It's Brandon Marsh. 2 for 3. Struck out his last time up. Funkhauser will keep a close eye on Joe Adell. Marsh tripled in a run and scored in the second, and he singled in the fourth. Takes it in the dirt, 1-0. Dan, what'd you think of Matt Manning today?
You know, and I think it was that Joe Adell at bat that drove that pitch count up, and I think he had to battle it a little bit. But I think these things are very important learning lessons for him when he gets these big leads. He's learning how to pitch with them.
Yep.
And he's got a lot left in the tank. He was still throwing 96, 97 after.
Gets away from Schoop, but runners can't advance. Matter of fact, Jared Walsh retreated to third. Just didn't get far enough away from Schoop as he and Candelario share a laugh.
After 95 pitches, he still had a lot left, in the tank, but he wasn't just saying, okay, I'm way up, I'm just going to throw you fastballs down the middle, but he was, kind of trusting his stuff. I think is what he's learning the best out of this, that his stuff plays and he doesn't have to really rely on his third and fourth best pitches.
Marsh with a drive to center, over the head of Cameron. 1 run is home. 2 runs will score. Marsh with his second triple of the day, and he's made it much more interesting for the Angels here in the 6th.
And then one of the things I liked about Manning today was that he used his secondary pitches. He's really working on that slider. He had a good feel for that pitch today. The two-seam he continues to work on. And you're looking here too at Funkhauser here, and guys, I just want to make this point. When you're out in the outfield, or when you're playing defense, and they're kind of lulling you to sleep because they're not pitchers are not attacking the strike zone, then guys tend to get on the heels a little bit, and so that's why it's so important to pound the strike zone. Force these hitters to swing the bat because you want your defense to always be at its best. And I just think even on that ball there, that Cameron got caught flat-footed there and didn't get the best jump and get back and make that play. Now, it's a tough play. One of the toughest balls you're going to get is when that ball's a line drive right at you as an outfielder.
I mean, it looked like he was shaded kind of over to the left
side
a little bit, and that ball was smoked. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Kyle Funkhauser comes in, and and the Angels are putting pressure on him. I mean, immediately pressure, and he's having to battle out of a tough situation.
But one thing we've noticed about this Angel, they don't quit either. They could have easily laid down here, guys. It was 10-2 at the time. Now all of a sudden, they've put up a 6 spot, and yeah, the Tigers helped them out with some free passes, but this team here continues to grind to that final out.
Stassi fouls it back. He led off the inning with a single.
The other thing is, you guys were talking about, the Grossman stolen base, and hey, that was the 5th inning. Also, AJ getting tossed. I mean, it's not like, hey, he wasn't comfortable either. He's saying, wait a minute, all this stuff still matters. I can't just let this go by the wayside. I'm fighting for my team.
Yeah, he pushes. He pushes, no doubt. Funkhauser strikes out Stassi to end it. Dan, we'll see you on Tigers Live. Thanks, my friend.
Go get him,
guys.
guys.
The loss of a good friend. Miguel Cabrera will lead off the 6th for Detroit.
Designated hitter, number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
Inside 1-1.
They've really been trying to crowd Miggy today with that fastball and then going slider down and away.
The 1-1 fouled away. 2 for 3 for Cabrera today with 4 RBIs. Here's the 1-2. Make it 2-2. The 2-2 fouled away. Had my partner leaning back. You felt like something there, huh?
Well, you just got to get an idea of and an understanding of how they're pitching it. 2 seamers in on his hands, then trying to go away, trying to put that inside pitch on his mind, and then go slider down the way, fastball down the way.
It's a full count. Deep breath for everybody. The payoff to third base. Bobbled by Goslin, and he dropped it.
And then one of the things I said they were doing, guys, they're going fastballs in. That's just to show me, just to get Miggy thinking about that pitch on the inner half. But they're trying to get him out of way with that slider. And they've done that all day long. And Miggy's kind of went around that outside pitch a little bit, but he's put together some good at-bats all day long.
He's aboard to lead off the 6th. There's Daz Cameron.
And Chip, every time I see this young man in the batter's box, I see his dad. He's got so many similar. I mean, they just look identical. Their whole approach, the way he hits, the way he uses his hands, when he makes contact, the way he flips the bat out of there, it's just.
Well, you know what Tigers fans are saying right now. Simo, I love the comparison. Absolutely love it. Now let's hope that he's a 3-time Gold Glover and an All-Star. right?
Yes.
And that he plays 17 years. That'd be great. That's what Mike did. Pokes it foul.
Always enjoyed talking with his dad, too. Student of the game. Always played hard.
Yeah, when you talk to him, you get the sense, man, this guy knows his stuff.
Oh, yeah, he does. Right? He knew where to play every position, every player. He was just a student. He knew when the guys that was going to go opposite field, he'd move in center field. He'd read hitters, swings in the batter's box.
Yeah, we need to remind ourselves, though, with Daz Cameron. Sure, he was part of the Justin Verlander deal. He's still just 24 years young.
Oh, yes. And he still's got a lot of upside. And again, injuries have kind of held him back.
And he'll have to play through the toe injury that he's suffering through right now. Inside 3-2 to him.
But there was so much to like when he first got called up this season. I mean, the at-bat, the approach. He just seemed to be a lot more comfortable. That second time around here at the major league level.
And he gets caught looking. It is interesting, though. How do you play through that? Because we were talking with A.J. Hinch about that earlier today. How does a young player know when to say, I think I need a break because it's bothering me, and how do they know I can play through this?
Well, I think it builds character, but it also speaks volume to your teammates when you are able to play through something. And the way to do it is to get yourself get there early, get your treatment, get everything that you need to feel good about the day, and really focus on the team and not yourself.
Because a lot of times you'll hear players talk about it, you'll hear managers say this, you know, 80% of a certain player is better than 100% of another player. And I think that's what you find out about the guys on your team. When guys are playing through injuries, guys are coming in early, getting the necessary treatment, taking care of their bodies.
Yeah, you know what it's like to play 157 games in a season. You've done that, right?
It's
157
a
out of
day-to-day
162.
grind.
Yeah, what does it take?
It's just a day-to-day grind. And again, it's about pacing yourself too. You obviously going to work hard, and you have to do everything in order to keep yourself healthy and be on the field. But I think it's so important to play smart, to work smart. And you talk about quality over quantity.
Pop up left side. Goslin in foul territory after the broken bat of Willie Castro. Boy, we've seen a lot of broken bats.
We have today. And then you think about your running programs. You think about your lifting programs. These are the things that keeps you strong throughout the season.
Well, come on. I mean, you're still doing the lifting program. Come on.
I need to be doing a lot more. I mean, I need to be on your program.
Oh, no.
But those are the ways
you
that
just
you
need
do
to know
stay
when
healthy.
to push away from the table. That's what
Right.
you need
That's
to do.
what it is.
That's the problem.
That's exactly what it is.
That's a good lesson, though, bud. It really is. Because, as we were talking before, it is incredibly challenging to get through a season like this.
Well, the Tigers do a great job, too, as a position player and a pitcher. They have a program for you. So after every game, you have a certain workout that you have to do. And it's documented. Right. And it's something that it's very important, not only to you as a player, but for that training staff. And they dock you when you're not coming in there getting your workouts done. And they're put on notice. They let everybody know.
And that workout does not include cheesecake, does it?
No,
I don't think
doesn't.
so.
And chicken wings and hot dogs and hamburgers. No, it doesn't include that. It's more like protein shakes. It's a tough challenge, though, especially for a young player, because when you get here, they do put together a workout program for you that you have to follow. And you don't really necessarily do that especially at the early stages of minor league baseball. Starting to get to AA, AAA, there's a lot more focus on the workouts after the game.
It's 2-2 to Zach Short. Short hit a solo homer in the second. He's grounded out a couple of times since. That home run in the second is one of 3 solo homers for the Tigers. Candelario and Willie Castro joined it. Up high 3-2. The payoff, and Short strikes out. We're through 6 at Comerica Park. Tigers lead is down to 2 on Bally Sports. .500. We know you're going to be capturing this awesome moment, so we want to include you in something special we're making at Bally Sports Detroit as Iglesias grounds out to second to start the 7th. Tweet your best videos. Tweet your best pictures, your best reactions with hashtag Miggy500. Here's Shohei Ohtani. A couple of hits for him, and he's been on base 3 times. He's also scored a run. The last time up, an infield single for him. That was in the 6th when the Angels scored 6 of their 8 runs. Funkhauser stays away. Michael Fulmer begins to warm up for Detroit. Good pitch to make it 1-1.
Yeah, good location there from the Funkhauser. The Tigers have had some success, though, against Ohtani, keeping that ball in on his hands, kind of crowding him with some good fastballs.
1-1 to Ohtani. Just missed outside. Ohtani hit his 40th home run of the season last night. That was the most by an Angels left-handed hitter in a single season ever. And of course leads the majors now.
And Chip, I like the simplicity of Ohtani's approach in the batter's box. If you look, he doesn't lift that front leg up.
Draws his second walk of the day.
You'll see Miguel Cabrera do that with 2 strikes. They try to eliminate movement, try to keep the head still so they can be shorter.
You got to be careful with him stealing a base here too, don't you?
Oh, you have to be. You have to respect his speed. And you wouldn't think 6'4", 210,
yeah,
like that he would have speed, but no, you could just tell he just enjoys the game. He enjoys every facet of the game.
Well, he's got 18 stolen bags. 18. Angels have thrived in the 6th inning or later in the series. 13 of their 19 runs coming into the 6th inning or later. Those are the numbers on Ohtani. He's stolen a base in this series, and he's been caught stealing a base in this series. First pitch to Fletcher is low.
Well, with Fletcher in the batter's box, here's a guy that makes contact. He's a good contact hitter. You could see Ohtani taking off, trusting that Fletcher in the batter's box will put the ball in play. So maybe see a hit and run.
Tigers did it earlier in the game. There goes Ohtani, and it's fouled at the plate.
That looked like a hit and run swing. That ball was down, and you saw the swing there by Fletcher, just trying to put that ball in play.
If you're going to do it with somebody, you might as well do it with the guy who has the highest contact rate in the game, and it's Fletcher. Ohtani's 47 stolen bases, 6th most by a Japanese-born player. Oh, gloved by Candelario. At the apex of his jump, he hauled it in.
Some great reflexes there by Candelario, who's continued to get better at third base. He's been stellar over there. And here's a great play here. Reads this ball and get up. Catch it up high. Showing off his hops. Did he play basketball?
Like going for a rebound, man.
That's what it looked like. And Funk says, thank you.
You bet. No problem. Here's Phil Gosselin. Tried to bunt his way on with 2 away. Fouled.
Just tell me that they're trying to get some traffic on the base pass for Walsh hitting behind them.
Yeah.
And then again, you got the go-ahead run coming to the plate.
Mike Mayers warming up. He's got good stuff. We saw him in the series opener. The 0-1 to Gosselin. Right down the middle.
Yeah, with that 2-seamer there, Chip, that ball started on the outer half, outside part of the plate, and it just runs back over. So as a right-handed hitter, you'll give up on that pitch. That one came back over.
The 0-2. A little high. We saw Funkhauser Tuesday night in the series opener. He pitched an inning, walked a man, struck out a player, and gave up a hit in 18 pitches.
He's got an opportunity, though, here to get Gosselin to expand that strike zone. Given that he's got 2 strikes on him, I'd like to see him either elevate that fastball or slide it down and away.
Line drive to center and a base hit.
two-seam fastball here. Tries to get it up, but he misses out over the plate. And again, Gosselin hits it right back up the middle. It's a good line drive swing.
And another move made by George Lombard. He'll take the ball from Kyle Funkhauser, and he'll give it to Michael Fulmer in a tight spot in the 7th. Runners at first and second. And Simo, really the game on the line here. A 2-run lead for Detroit. 2 outs here in the 7th, and he faces a dangerous hitter in Jared Walsh. It's a wall-side windows pitching change.
Well, for me, Fulmer has thrived in these high-leverage situations. He's earned the trust of his manager, A.J. Hinch, and that's why you go to him. He's got a firm fastball. That fastball's gotten back up to 97, 98, but it's been the slider, fastball-slider mix that has just been lethal.
He pitched in the series opener on Tuesday, and he faced Jared Walsh to start in the 7th and struck him out. It was a scoreless inning for Fulmer, and he threw 19 pitches.
He just seems to embrace these moments when the game's on the line, when his team needs him the most.
The 1-0. Make it 2-0. There has been a lot of base path traffic for both teams here today. Tigers had a huge inning in the 2nd, scoring 5 runs. Angels had a massive inning in the 6th, scoring 6.
A 2-0 count here. Good hitters count. Walsh likes the ball down and in. Most lefties do. So you want to stay out of that zone. Maybe 2-seam fastball down and away.
The 2-0 swung on and missed. Good stop by Garneau. Now 2-1. Walsh has been on base a ton. Didn't play last night, but in the series opener, he had 4 walks. Today, he's walked twice and singled. Ohtani walked. Gosselin singled. In the dirt, another good stop by Garneau.
That's 2 sliders back-to-back for Michael Fulmer. It just seemed like right now Shep didn't have that real good feel for that pitch.
No.
Kind of yanking it.
Another day where you try to get through without your best stuff.
Yes.
(3-1) to Walsh. Off the end of the bat, left center field. Ohtani scores. Gosselin puts on the brakes at 3rd, and Walsh is in with an RBI double, down to a 1-run Tigers lead.
And guys, that's all set up by Michael Fulmer falling behind in the count. And anytime you fall behind 3-1, you have to throw a strike. Fulmer leaves something up out over the plate, and you talked about the eye of Walsh, but you also think about where that pitch is located. Gets the front foot down, and you can see there, it didn't hit it hard, but he's still thinking inside, trying to stay on the baseball, and he throws one out in the short left center field, and he drives in the 9th run of the game for the Angels.
What do you do now? Runners at 2nd and 3rd, 2 away, and Justin Upton.
Well, I think you try to get him to expand.
Checked his swing, didn't go.
And if you can't get him to expand, you take your chances with Joe Adele on deck.
Upton reached on catcher's interference in the 5th. Also walked in the 6th. The 1-0. Grounded sharply to 3rd. Candelario's got it. And the inning is over. Angels get a little bit closer, but the Tigers still lead by 1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th and we stretch in Detroit. Brought to you by DTE. Well, there's no doubt about that. Joe Madden has had some problems. Phil Gosselin and other members of the Angels have had a problem with the strike zone. Justin Upton felt like they should have called catcher's interference right away. And quite honestly, A.J. Hinch had a problem because it took over 3 minutes for the Angels to get that video replay when you're only allowed 30 seconds. Hinch had a very strong argument on, look, if you're going to do that, it has to be quicker. But the Angels were granted the leeway. A.J. Hinch was ejected for the first time as a Tiger and the 17th time in his career. We've moved to the bottom of the 7th. Victor Reyes, Dustin Garneau, and Robbie Grossman for Detroit.
Well, Shep Meyers got a 4-pitch mix. He's got a fastball, blazing fastball that gets up to 97. Matter of fact, he's got 2 different fastballs. He's got a cutter that he likes to use to the left-handers, trying to move that ball in under their hands. He'll throw a curveball, slider, and a changeup. Look for the Tigers to sit heater, though. You got to be sitting dead red when guy throws that hard.
Fly ball. Shallow right center. David Fletcher takes care of it. And we go back down to Trevor Thompson. Hi, Trev.
Hey, guys, earlier in the season when Wilson Ramos and Grayson Greiner were both injured, Dustin Morneau would have been the catcher called up from AAA to replace these guys and give them a backup catcher, but he had broken his wrist, so he didn't have the opportunity, and that is when Jake Rogers and Eric Haas got the call, and both of those guys ran with the opportunity that was given them. Garneau's at the plate right now and told us today that it's now come full circle for him. Haas has the bat back. He got the call at the trade with the trade, and he's here today and saying he's glad that Haas got that opportunity because he was one of the guys with a big stick down there, and he wanted other people to see what he saw, that this guy's a great hitter. He's made the most of it, and now Garneau's got his opportunity with the Tigers. It's just strange the way baseball works out sometimes.
And pretty comfortable, too, right? You had a chance to talk with him before the game?
Very comfortable, and let this pitch go by. He had the opportunity to catch Matt Manning and knew a couple of these guys on the team, had been a part of the taxi squad earlier in the season, so there was definitely a comfort level here, and he said the mood inside the clubhouse was noticeably more upbeat this time around when he joined these guys after what they've been through this season, and rightfully so.
Thanks, Trev. This is Garneau at the dish, and they are playing him to pull. It's 1-2. Haas put on the 10-day IL. And A.J. Hinch told us, look, we need a full team. We're going to Toronto. We're going to St. Louis. You know, you don't want to play shorthanded. So Haas did catch a bullpen today. He's going to take some BP in Toledo. Slowly to David Fletcher. Look at that transfer.
That was quick.
Sure was.
Yeah, but Haas's bat's going to be missed in this lineup. He's been one of the guys doing the most damage in the middle of the lineup. 19 home runs.
Yep. And the threat as much as anything else. And quite honestly, Simo, I mean, his catching skills has greatly improved since he's come to Detroit. That's what happens when you get guys like Josh Paul and A.J. Hinch working with you behind the plate.
And also his pop time. He's throwing some guys out. He's kind of contained the running game as well.
Two away for Robbie Grossman. Another strong performance from Grossman. Swung on and missed. Been on base 3 times, couple of hits, and he scored twice. He's also stolen a base. That stolen base was his 14th of the season. Tigers rank 4th in the American League in that category. Another strike from Myers, who we saw in the series opener and had nasty stuff through 2 innings, through 27 pitches, 20 of them for strikes in those 2 innings. Basically says, here it is, I dare you to try and hit it.
Up with an 0-2 count, 1-2 count here. If you're Robbie Grossman, you want to be in protect mode. And you have to protect against that slider. That's a pitch that he loves to go to with 2 strikes.
1-2 swung on and missed. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the 7th. It's a close one. Don't go away. Tigers need 6 more outs to get it done. Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By North Bloomfield Properties, the area's most recommended property management team. And by Fix My Feet. End your foot pain now at Fix My Feet today. 3 home runs for the Tigers so far today, all of them solo shots, and all of them needed. Zach Short, Jeimer Candelario, and Willie Castro. Teams are 240-1 this season when leading by 8 runs at any point in the game. The Tigers were up 8 after 5. Joe Adell tried to tie it 0-1 against Michael Fulmer.
You're right. He did try to tie it. Yeah. It's a big swing there.
It is a big swing. Fouls it back. Fulmer ahead 0-2. 12 hits for the Angels. 14 for Detroit. But they have been tough with 2 strikes, haven't they?
They really have. 5 of their 12 hits have been with 2 strikes.
Missed outside.
Tiger pitching just not being effective or efficient when they get these hitters to 2 strikes. Not able to put them away.
Need a put away pitch. Like that. 1 away.
It's a good firm fastball at the top of the strike zone. Changing his eye level, work down in the strike zone with the slider, and then he elevates and gets the swing and miss.
No pitcher is perfect. We understand that, right?
Absolutely.
Because you've always told us
Absolutely
about
not. They're not perfect.
Yeah, this game is a game of failure, but man, you feel really good with Michael Fulmer on the mound. Don't you?
Oh, you do. You feel good because you know that he's going to attack. And he's going to attack the hitters with his best stuff. He's got that bulldog mentality.
You got to have a little dog in you. I mean, you mentioned it before. Matt Manning has a little bit more dog in him now than he did when he first started against the Angels.
I believe so. I mean, I like playing behind those guys. I like the guys that have a little chip on their shoulder, thinks that they're better than the guy in the batter's box, don't back down. And I see that from all these guys, Mannings, your Scoobles, Mize. And I definitely love watching Fulmer pitch.
Marsh, one of 3 guys with multiple triples in a game this year. That includes Victor Reyes. Luis Arraez the other.
These guys just kind of have that it factor.
It's now 2-2. When Reyes hit his 2 triple game, he was the first Tiger since Ian Kinsler to do it in 2017, and he did it from both sides of the plate. Not to take anything away from Brandon Marsh, but he had to do it with both left-handed side. Reyes did it from both sides of the plate, the first Tiger to do it since Dimitri Young in 2003 against the Orioles.
The meat hook. That's what they called it. The meat hook. 2 triples?
Hey, it's better than being called meathead. Yeah, it was 2 triples, yeah, against Baltimore. Moved his feet 3-2.
Was that in Baltimore? Oh, was it here? Oh, okay. If
I don't know.
Was it in Baltimore? It wasn't?
I think it was here.
I think it was. Okay, if it was here, then it's, I understand it. But in Baltimore, they're not throwing out a lot of triples there.
Yeah, you sound surprised.
Well, I am a little
because
surprised.
The meat hook couldn't pick him up and put him down like you thought? Or?
Well, I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm just saying he was a big fella. But the big fella was running, obviously, that day.
Big boy was rolling that day. Three and 2 to Marsh. Those triples were flashy because they've also driven in 3 runs. An RBI triple in the 2nd and a 2-run triple in the 6th. He's been a tough out.
Yeah, he's put together some better at bats in today's contest, because yesterday Skubal had his number. He was getting with that 2-seamer fastball inside, sliders down and away. I mean, it was so bad, Shep, that he squared around and tried to bunt because he just wasn't picking the ball up.
Off Skubal.
What a battle. Neither man ready to give in. Hard not to appreciate a guy who does what this kid has done, battling each at bat. Number 2 prospect in the Angels system, 2nd round pick in 2016. Out of Buford, Georgia, waits on another 3-2 and draws the walk. Eight walks for the Angels today. Remember, in the series opener, they had 12 hits and 9 walks. It's something that A.J. Hinch was really frustrated with after the contest. And today, 12 hits, 8 walks so far.
Yeah, this is what frustrates a manager when you're giving away free passes, because they preach, you know, attack the strike zone, force the hitter to swing the bat. And the Tigers have struggled with their command.
Could use a ground ball here.
Fulmer has the stuff to do it. He's got that 2-seam sinking fastball that induce tons of ground ball outs.
Stassi 1 for 4. Grounded to short in the 2nd. Called out on strikes in the 4th. Singleton scored in that big 6th for the Angels and then struck out swinging in the 6th. The 1-0. Missed outside. The strike to ball ratio has not been kind for any Tigers pitcher so far today. For Fulmer, he's thrown 23 pitches, just 12 strikes. Here's the 2-0. There you go. Just missed. 3-1.
I'm watching Daz Cameron in center field. He's playing Stassi a little bit to the opposite field, but with a 3-1 count, I don't think I look for him to go the other way. Trying to get that bat head out in front and try to pull this ball.
3-1 to left field. In the corner and gone. A 2-run shot from Max Stassi, and now the Angels have taken the lead.
And guys, when you fall behind behind the plate, 3-1, those are good hitters counts. And when you get a pitch, the hitter gets a pitch that he can handle. That's exactly what happens, where guys are not thinking the opposite way. They're thinking out in front. And there's a 95-mile-per-hour fastball on the inner half, but didn't run in quite far enough. And Stassi gets to it, and he hits that ball out to left field to give the Angels a lead.
And what was it? The walk to Brandon Marsh.
Walk to Brandon Marsh. It seems like they always come back to Hunch.
Yeah. Everybody in the ballpark stunned. Tigers led it 10-2 going into the top of the 6th. Angels scored 6 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and now 2 here in the 8th.
Last night we had ourselves a pitching duel. Tonight we've got ourselves a slugfest.
That home run for Stassi, his 11th of the season. We talk about the important veterans on this Tigers team. Stassi's one of those, along with Kurt Suzuki. They combine on the catching duties for the Angels. Iglesias into the left field corner. Grossman cuts it off. Iglesias thinking 2 right out of the box. And he's in there.
So did you see him just put his head down and just take off as soon as he made contact with that ball? He was looking to get himself in scoring position there. Again, though, here's another pitch up in the strike zone. The Tigers have left some pitches out over the plate and given the Angels hitters the opportunity to barrel them up. Haven't been that efficient and effective today.
It's really been a tough series if you think about it for the bullpen. A.J. Hinch used 6 in the series opener, ended up losing 8-2, and even though Funkhauser, Jimenez, Fulmer, and Cisnero pitched well, Soto struggled. Cisnero and Ramirez yesterday in the 3-1 setback, and then today 4 arms out of the bullpen so far, and 9 of the 11 runs charged to the bullpen. Shohei Ohtani's been on base 4 times, a couple of singles and a couple of walks. He's also scored a couple of runs. The beat goes on for one of the best in the game today. Aggressive goes after the first. 0-1.
He swings early and often, Shep. He doesn't really wait around. And I think a lot of times as a hitter, you believe that the first pitch is going to be the best pitch you get, because you hear all the time, pitcher have success doing what? Throwing first pitch strikes.
Well, he sure doesn't mind being down in the count either. So, I mean, I would think that comes into the mindset too. I mean, if you get an 0-1 hole, so what? I can get myself out of it.
Well, he believes it because he has the ability to drive the ball out the opposite way, and he has great plate coverage. You see him a lot of times pull that outside pitch.
Looks that one all the way in, 2-1. Hits in 9 of his last 10 for Ohtani.
But I do feel like his eyes light up when he sees that ball middle in, because that's a pitch he likes.
Well, they lit up last night, that's for certain. The 2-1. Swung on and missed. There goes the runner to third, and Iglesias has it stolen.
Looks like right there the Tiger, Iglesias catches the Tigers sleeping here. It was a nice secondary, right? Got a little secondary going, and then he was off and running.
Forces the Tigers to move the infield in.
Smart base running there by Iglesias.
The 2-2. Lifted foul. Ohtani, the player of the month in the month of July. He was also given that honor in June. First to win back-to-back players of the month since Josh Hamilton of Texas in 2012. It's 3-2 to him. Now the payoff. Fouled away. Tigers head to Toronto and then St. Louis after this. Another 3-2 from Fulmer. In the air, center field. Cameron comes in. He's got it. Iglesias will test his arm, and Iglesias scores. 12-10. Angels in front on the sacrifice fly from Shohei Ohtani.
And guys, the reason they're able to score there on that fly ball there to shallow center field is, let's take a look at Iglesias here. This is called a delay steal. You see him shuffle off.
Nobody's paying attention, and boom, he's off and running, and he gets himself to third base where several different ways to score. A pass ball, and yes, that sacrifice fly off the bat of Shohei Ohtani gets the Angels another run here. Now they have a 2-run lead in the top of the 8th inning.
George Lombard needs to make the move. He has already signaled for the bullpen. Ian Kroll is asked to come on and deal with David Fletcher. Angels have scored 3 times in the inning. They lead it by 2. Let's send it to John Keating. What's going on, Keats?
Well, Shep, as Tiger fans now know, we lost the great Bill Freehan overnight after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. And for a long, long time, one of his favorite teammates was Willie Horton. In fact, this from Willie today: Bill Freehan was one of the greatest men I've ever played alongside or had the pleasure of knowing. I'll always cherish our childhood memories together and our journey from Sandlot Baseball to Tiger Stadium. His entire Major League career was committed to the Tigers in the city of Detroit, and he was one of the most respected and talented members of the organization through some difficult yet important times through the 60s and 70s. You'd be hard-pressed to find another athlete that had a bigger impact on his community over the course of his life than Bill, who will be sorely missed in Detroit and beyond. That from Willie Horton, Shep.
Well said. Don't think we could add anything more appropriate than what Mr. Horton just said about his good friend. We've had Jim Price on to talk about Bill Freehan, Dan Petrie, both men very close to Bill Freehan, and both men very emotional about what they've had to deal with and the passing of the great Bill Freehan. All-side windows pitching change. Ian Kroll is on. It's the 12th appearance for Kroll this season. Comes at a key spot to get David Fletcher out here in the 8th, so his team can get back into the dugout and send Schoop, Candelario, and Cabrera to the bat. Saw Ian Kroll in the opening game of this series, but just a third of an inning. Good crowd who wants to see Miguel Cabrera hit his 500th career homer. They'll get a shot in the 8th, the bottom half of this inning. First things first, get David Fletcher out. Tigers down 2, stunningly down 2. Let it 10-2, and the Angels have just been motoring. 6 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. 3 here in the 8th. Fletcher fouls it away. Two-run homer from Max Stassi here in the 8th inning. Gave the Angels the lead. Their first lead of the day. Pop up behind first. Willie Castro's got it. Tigers need some runs. They're down 2. These are the guys to get it done. Schoop, Candelario, and Miguel Cabrera, who eyes number 500 in his career. The Angels scored 10 unanswered runs. It started with a 6-run 6th. So 9 of their 12 runs so far have come from the 6th inning on. Combined, it's been a hitter's feast. No A.J. Hinch after arguing in the 5th, and no Joe Jimenez, who was leaving the game anyway. Austin Warren is on for the Angels. Austin Warren pitched in the series opener, 1 1/3 scoreless innings.
Well, he's got 2 different fastballs, Shep. He's got a fastball, 4-seamer that's get up to 96 miles per hour. But look for him to use a cutter. Heavy usage with that cutter. But he's got a slider and a changeup as well. He's also one of those Angels bullpen arms that is not afraid to pitch inside. So you'll see him really crowd the right-hand hitters and left-handers with good firm fastballs, trying to open up that outside part of the plate for himself to go to that changeup to the left-handers and slider to the righties.
Soft contact to start the inning. Brings up Jeimer Candelario. Candelario, one of 3 solo homers for Detroit today. Willie Castro and Zach Short the others. Been a good day for him. Singled and scored in the first. Drove in a run and scored in the second. Then the homer, as we mentioned, his 10th of the season. On the inside edge, 1-1. It gives Candelario, by the way, a team high 9 3-hit games on the season. Check swing foul. Let's update Ram pick to stick. Who had Jeimer Candelario?
Oh, your partner did.
How about that?
Your partner did. How about
That's
11-point day?
I tell you what, man, that's a ton of points. Who doesn't have points in a game like this?
Oh, is that a dig? Hit Papa Bear down there?
Oh, is that who it was?
Oh, yeah, that's John Keating.
Candelario flares one left center. Justin Upton's got it 2 away.
You're cute. You're cute.
Here he comes.
Miguel Cabrera.
Broken bat just sawed him off. 3-hopper to Fletcher. And the Tigers go 1-2-3 for the second straight inning and the second time today. Team road trip for the Tigers starts tomorrow 6:30 with Tigers Live here on Bally Sports. Tyler Alexander, Willie Peralta, and Drew Hutchison for the Tigers. Detroit will see 3 lefties in Toronto. And remember, tonight's game started against a lefty in Quintana. Detroit, since the All-Star break, coming into play today, the best batting average against southpaws in the majors. They were batting .312 coming into play today. And they had good numbers against Quintana as well. On the season overall, batting .261. Tough to duplicate what they did a year ago. Goslin puts a charge into one. Deep left field. That's out of here.
Yep, there's another mistake. Up and out over the middle of the plate. And Goslin deposits that ball into the left field seats. It's another good swing by the Angels of Anaheim. Little change up, stays up. Goslin head down, puts a really good swing on it. Take a look at this swing here. Recognized that pitch up and didn't miss it. Been a tough day for Tigers pitching today as far as command.
It's been a shocking day.
It really has been shocking. They've been really good at attacking the zone, staying out of the middle of the plate, changing speeds well. And today they just really struggled commanding the strike zone.
Scorecard is full of red. The home run for Goslin's his 5th of the season, and it traveled 384 feet. Jared Walsh has had a very productive game and a very productive series. Drove in a run with an RBI double in the 7th. He's walked twice, scored a run, and also singled. Trying to get him here, and they won't get him. Boy, the PFP has looked a little off today.
Yeah, starting to get a little sloppy here. And this is something that AJ does, you know, obviously this is going to eat at him because he preaches playing the game the right way, doing things the right way. And it's not a great example of it there.
Here's Justin Upton. It was Upton in the 5th that created a bit of a stir. hit the glove of Dustin Garneau. It was clear on our replay. They had to review it. And he was granted first base, and rightfully so. The issue became the length in which the umpires and Joe Madden were able to argue that originally it was indeed catcher's interference.
I don't know, what did it take, like 3 minutes?
It lasted roughly three and change. And then A.J. Hinch was complaining about the length in which it took, and rightfully so, because that's outside the boundaries, outside the rules, and he was ejected for the first time as a Tiger skipper, and the first time since April 3rd of 2019. It's 1-2 to Justin Upton. No hits for Upton today, but he's been aboard a couple of times. Fouled it away.
We're talking about the Tigers pitcher not being effective with 2 strikes or falling behind the count. And there's a 3-1 pitch up over the plate. And what a great view of that.
Like you're at the peak of the Ferris wheel looking down.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's a good analogy there.
Just don't eat the elephant ears before you jump on board. Sugar sits heavy. Spoken from a man with experience. Ian Kroll could use a ground ball. Instead, he'll take the strikeout of Justin Upton, 1 away. There's Joe Adell. Adell struck out his last time out. Scored a couple of runs. And yet 0 for 3. Swung on and missed.
He's really taking some big swings today, Shep, after he hit that grand slam.
Yeah.
I think he liked that feeling so much that he's trying to hit one every
Who wouldn't?
time he goes up to the batter's box. But you got rewarded for a good approach. You weren't thinking big, you were thinking small, and big things happen.
Another big cut.
So I would think smaller and allow these big things to happen.
How long did it take you to learn that?
Yeah, it takes you a little while. It takes you a little while.
Everybody goes through growing pains in any job they have, don't you think?
Yes, I agree.
The 0-2. Another good stop by Garneau. Well, he's battled through it, huh? Been a long game for him. He's got a ton of pitchers and a ton of pitches, especially in the dirt. A.J. Hinch told us about that before the game. Look, he's gonna be rock solid defensively. He's gonna call a game. Yeah, knows which fingers to put down. There's the chopper, short quickly to second. Castro's turn, no way.
Well, Kroll gets the ground ball that he wants. Short gets the ball over to Willie Castro there, but just not able to make the turn. Again, we talked about the speed of Adell.
Leaves the door open for Brandon Marsh,
who's had a incredible day already, driving in, 3 runs, 2 triples.
Yeah, he's a good-looking young player, but we've seen enough of him. Short throws him out. Here we go in the 9th. Last call for the Tigers. They're down 3. Daz Cameron's got to get something generated.
This time the Angels overcame an 8-run deficit to win. It was way back in 1986 in the Petrie era. The last time the Tigers coughed up an 8-run lead and lost, it was July 4th of 2004. We will blame Craig Monroe for that because he was on that Tigers team. John and Dan getting you ready for Tigers live postgame. It was to be and still may be a happy edition of Tigers Live, but they got some work to do after this one turned sideways in a hurry.
Yeah, we got to hope for 4 runs right here because this one's going to sting. And there was a lot of offense by the Tigers. We're going to show you who was in the middle of all that offense coming right up after the game.
And what is said after this one, stay tuned for Tigers Live. We'll see you then, Shep.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Thanks, Keith, very much. And how they're able to flush this, if you will, if they need to, as they head to Toronto against what is considered, and rightfully so, one of the best offenses in baseball.
I think you can make that argument.
Man.
Toronto has maybe the best.
That's a heck of a lineup there.
It's a young lineup too.
Yeah. Cameron, deep right field. Joe Adell waits for it. He's got it. 1 out in the 9th. Bo Bichette is a guy that you're going to like watching for sure. Only Houston has a better average than Toronto as Detroit gets set to go there. And only Tampa and Houston have actually scored more runs than the Blue Jays. But when you think about the talent that they have, and you know, Teoscar Hernandez is having a heck of a season. He's 3rd in the league in hitting with 317. And that's the major league, not the American League. Willie Castro looks at strike 1. Fouls it away. He's in an 0-2 hole. Zach Short to follow. Castro, a solo shot in the 4th. It traveled 372 feet and gives him 9 on the year. Up high 1 and 2.
Castro got a ball out over the plate, Shep, and that's one of the pitches that he had been pulling off early on and not scoring it up. So it was good to see him get a pitch out over the plate and stay on it and drive that ball out the opposite way. I feel like when he's going his best, he's doing exactly that.
Swings through it, 2 away.
It's a really good pitch here by Warren here. This little cutter that backs up on Willie Castro kind of crowded him with that pitch.
The 11 runs scored in the 6th and beyond for the Angels ties a season high for them. They did it against the Dodgers on May 8th, but they lost that game 14-11. Short down 0-1 in the count. Now 0-2. Short homered in that productive 5-run second that had you feeling pretty good, especially when they tacked on 2 in the 4th and 1 in the 5th and led it 10-2.
Well, Shep, you felt like the Tigers had this game in the bag, so to speak, because of the hit parade that we saw, the great approach that they had today against Quintana, putting up that crooked number. But it was the Angels of Anaheim that just kept pecking away.
Short strikes out. A stunning loss for the Tigers. This one will sting for a while. 13-10 the wrap up. Angels sweep them. Let's send it to John Keating and Dan Petrie standing by with Tigers Live postgame.
Well, if you have a pitching coach there at the house, you may want to check on them and see if they're okay. There were 30 hits in this game. There were 23 runs scored and not enough by the home team. Tigers hit some long balls. We'll also look back on the great life lived by Tiger legend Bill Freehan during Tigers Live. Coming up. With the hits from Dearborn, 3 Tiger homers. Ultimately, it was not enough. the heartbreak attached to this one.
Can we even afford the
issue? Why was A.J. Hinch so angry? What led to his first Tiger ejection, and is he still hot about it? You'll hear from the Tiger manager when Tigers Live begins next.
That's okay.
This is Tigers Live on Valley Sports. It's presented to you by Cure Auto Insurance. This was ugly with a capital hug, and it's the first time since 2004 the Tigers have given up this large of a lead in a loss. We were just kids then. 13-10, the final this afternoon. Welcome to Tigers Live. I'm John Keating with the former world champ Dan Petrie with you. The concern is when you're on the happy side of a laugher, you can't laugh too soon because 10-2 became 10-9, became an ulcer, became a gaping wound, and a 13-10 setback.
Yeah, this is going to sting for a while, but if we've learned anything about the Tigers, they don't quit, but neither does the opposition, and that's why A.J. Hinch was fighting for his team in the 5th inning. You had Robbie Grossman stealing a base when they were up 9-2. It was not too early for all of that stuff just because of the competition level between these two teams.
Well, much like you, A.J. Hinch had to watch a good chunk of this on television because he was ejected, his first ejection as a Tiger manager. It's among the topics that he addresses, and they're brought to you by Leinenkugels.
Were you upset about the time it took them in the dugout while Madden and Justin Upton were arguing and then allowed the review? Was that your beef?
Yeah, I mean, it's unacceptable. I thought it was handled wrong. You know, when the play happened, they called a foul ball, which was a missed call. I don't blame Justin Upton for arguing. I don't blame Joe Madden for coming out and having what should have been a brief discussion with the home plate umpire. They go to the headset. We have a process. Hunter in second base came really late. I don't know why the continued conversation. It's Joe's right to come out, and I don't have a problem with Joe Madden coming out, but we're icing the pitcher there, and we on a reviewable play that there's a process put in place to speed up the game when there's a discrepancy on a call like this. So when I came out to talk to Hunter after the 3.5 minute delay, you know, it was to tell him that I thought he was wrong. And then when I was past the line going, it wasn't part of the end of the game and how it all played out, but it was handled wrong from the beginning. It was handled wrong at the end, and unfortunately, that's the way the inning played out.
It just seemed like things started going downhill in that 6th inning, and you know, little hits led to a bleed out almost.
Yeah, no, we didn't do anything right on the mound at the end of the game. I mean, we struggled to throw strikes, we struggled to control damage, and then they just kept pecking away at virtually every reliever. I mean, this loss stings. It's a bad loss. We were in control of the game, and we just couldn't end at bats positively fast enough. And we kept rolling their lineup around and ended up in a nasty situation of just handing the ball to the next guy and not being able to come away with it. So we let this one get away from us. It's completely on us. You know, but we'll move on and get to the next series, but it's a bad loss.
What does this do for your bullpen now going into the Toronto series? I mean, you had to use Fulmer a lot, Funkhauser a lot. I know you still have the other two guys on the back end, but do you feel like you can kind of come through this?
Well, we need to. We're not in a good place with the bullpen, so we're not in a good place, and we'll have to talk about it. We'll obviously regroup, and confidence-wise, we're going to be fine. This is a good group of relievers. They're going to be able to bounce back from this, but yeah, I have concern going into the Rogers Center and having Toronto's offense and you know, in some difficult matchups, but it's the big leagues.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trevor Thompson.
Dick, can you also just talk to overall the walks today, the number of walks, and how that hurt you in the long run?
Yeah, we didn't execute pitches, and it continues to roll the lineup over and over again, and they got, some key hits as well. So we've done that to other teams, before, Trevor. We've also, watched ourselves create some innings for them by not executing some things. We didn't turn double plays today. We didn't cover first a couple times. Those things hurt you when you review a game like this. So there's not much to like today other than we swung the bats pretty well. I liked some of the bats early in the game, and scoring double-digit runs should be enough, but wasn't our day.
Well, the challenge was to bedevil the Angels. Get this, the Tigers have not won a season series against the Angels since 2010. That's forever ago, through JV and through Grandy and Scherzer and Leland and a trip to the World Series, and it didn't happen this year either. In fact, now that the season series is done, Detroit went 1-6 against the Angels, but it looked like all the karma was coming Detroit's way when they had the 10-2 lead, because they did go long ball, 3 early home runs in this game, and everybody felt great at that point.
Yeah, this series surprised me a little bit. I mean, I can understand that back in Anaheim, but I fully expected this to be different. But, Zach Short right here, who's been battling a slump of just 1 hit in his last 34 at-bats, putting in a lot of time with Jonathan Schoop. You see him get a pitch right down in the strike zone and showing off that power. Here's Jeimer Candelario, who's really heated up. And here's one out over the plate. He doesn't try to pull it or hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark. He goes with it and hits it out into the bullpen. Immediately following, here's Willie Castro, who hit one yesterday off of Shohei Ohtani on a curveball, but pulled that one. He gets the same pitch as Jeimer Candelario, a fastball up and away. He doesn't hit it to the deepest part to the ballpark. He goes with it and hits it into the bullpen. So as AJ was talking about, really, really good approaches right there that he really, really liked offensively, and then just unfortunately the usually reliable bullpen just had a little bit of a bad, well, not a little bit of a bad game today.
Well, what's this week been like? It's kind of like waiting for Christmas morning, and then you got socks. I mean, really nice socks, because Miguel Cabrera had 2 hits and 4 RBIs today, but he's still looking for that 500th homer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, everybody kind of gets disappointed or let down a little bit by, Miggy just got a lousy single, but he continues to just smoke the ball. Here he's coming up, the crowd on its feet, and there's Quintana just putting it right back to where it came from, a bullet up the middle. And then, second time up in the second inning with the bases loaded, comes up and hits one right down the line. It stays fair. It clears the bases. And Miggy's got 4 RBIs in the second inning already without hitting a home run and putting the Tigers up. But that's what he wants to do, is be a contributor. He knows all eyes and attention is on him for that home run, but he's still doing what's best for the ball club, and that was getting a single, a double, and 4 RBIs in the first 2 innings.
All right, 13-10 the final. Here's a little perspective that might be needed at this point. How much do you think about it? Really not enough for any of us, really. What will be said about us when we're gone? We lost Tigers great Bill Freehan to Alzheimer's disease during the night. He had blocked this disease for the last handful of years, but he'll be recalled as a guy who loved his family and his town and the game of baseball, and was loved right back.
McCarver pops up. Here's Freehan. Detroit's the new world champion.
It was the greatest catch in Tigers history when Bill Freehan caught Mickey Lolich. All of Mickey Lolich.
And look at Freehan picking up Lolich.
Capping one of the most memorable summers in Detroit baseball history.
Bill, congratulations on being on the new world champion.
Thank you, Ernie. It's a tremendous thrill. I thought maybe winning the pennant was the biggest thrill of my life, but I think I know this is. It's beautiful. We've come back from behind all year, and we did it again. I never thought we could, but we did, and I don't know, a lot of people must have been praying for us.
With the passage of time, sometimes we forget. It's part of the human condition, but we should always remember our heroes.
Cardinal Lou Brock had doubled and was in scoring position.
up with it. Brock being waved around. The throw by Horton, and he is safe. Out! He's out! They called him out of the plate.
We should remember that Bill Freehan was an 11-time All-Star, a 5-time Gold Glover, and that he finished second in the Most Valuable Player voting in 1968, just behind his battery mate Denny McLain. It's that skill at the dish and behind it which will never allow one of the game's best to forget.
He was a horse. He was behind the plate. He played all the time. He was tough. He got big hits for us all the time. He led the pitching staff. He was really the captain of our ball club. He was the best player I ever played with. Now, there were guys that had 1 or 2 years better than him, but he was the best player for a long period of time that I played with, and nobody ever brings his name up. His name ought to be in the wall out there, and he was the leader of our ball club.
Bill Freehan was a rock of a human being. He averaged 143 games behind the plate during the prime of his 15-season big league career that began in the majors when he was just 19. Growing up in Royal Oak, he was drafted out of the University of Michigan in 1961, where he also played football. He'd spend the next season in the minors, but he was up for keeps in 1963, and when he retired, only 2 catchers in American League history, Yogi Berra and Bill Dickey, had more homers and total bases than did Freehan. Yes, we need to be reminded about the rock-solid career of a rock-solid human.
He's an all-star. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. People should really look at that. He had a great guy, number one. He and I respected each other, and I used to kid with him. In Tiger Stadium, we had those poles and mirrors. And he'd be up there, comb his hair on top, and I'd go up and say, "Oh, what am I going to do with all this hair, Bill?" And he'd chase me around the locker room, We had a good time. But great guy. I mean, just wonderful guy.
After he retired, he returned to U of M to be their head baseball coach. And along the way, he spread reminders of how to be great behind the plate to the likes of up-and-coming Tigers prospects like Lance Parrish.
To have the opportunity to work with a guy like that was pretty special. And I'm very, very thankful that Sparky thought enough to bring him into spring training and kind of be my personal tutor. He gave me a lot of tips on how to do certain things and how to move, and all of it being extremely important to my development as a young catcher. Bill Freehan is just the epitome of what a man should be, the way he carried himself, the way he treated people, just the respect that people had for him. I admired that, and I wanted to be that.
The rock of a human being caught almost 1,800 major league games, but all that physical pounding took its toll. There is evidence that links those hits to the Alzheimer's disease that ultimately claimed his life. He was enjoying retirement up north with walks in the woods with his wife Pat and 30-mile bike rides when he began feeling that something wasn't quite right. And the diagnosis was staggering. The final years of Freehan's life were spent in an Alzheimer's fog. The despised disease just steals your sense of life. And Bill Freehan had always been full of that. Yes, we should remember a kid who became a hero here, a World Series champion. He was one of us, and we will remember that smile as we say, rest easy, number 11.
Tigers baseball all season and the Bally Sports app. Presented by T-Mobile.
Tigers Live on Bally Sports is brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Save 50% with Michigan's newest car insurance. Visit Cure.com today and save. And by Gulling Buick GMC, experience the Gulling difference at Gulling Buick GMC in Lake Orion. The day started fine, 10-2. Ultimately, it ended with a 13-10 setback, and the player of the game is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. Gamer Candelario went 3 for 5 in today's tilt with a homer, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. And yet, that wasn't enough. There are a dozen painful aspects to this loss as we welcome you back to the Cure Auto Insurance Tigers desk. But there's a bunch of them that feels like you're stepping on one Lego block after another. Among them is that the Tigers bullpen has been really good. Well, that just wasn't the case today. Kyle Funkhauser, part of that parade out of the Tigers bullpen, and here he is looking back.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. I thought for the most part I was battling some pretty average command. Pretty much like I really had my slider working for me. Wish I would have thrown more curveballs and changeups, kind of mixed it up, but I really liked my two-seam. I got in on a lot of guys, especially those righties, which I thought kind of equalized it a little bit.
The swing and miss, I know we've made a little bit about that here in recent starts. Is that an encouraging sign for you, and do you think there's anything in particular behind the uptick in those for you?
I just think as I get more innings, see more hitters, and they see me, I think I'll be able to get more single misses, executing some more pitches where I need them to, and I think it's going to start trending up as I go along.
And just that fifth inning there is a struggle to get through it. Just how difficult was that, and could you kind of feel yourself tiring at all as you got over the 90 pitch mark?
Yeah, I think the at-bat to Walsh, I was trying to be a little too fine, kind of get to my spot, and just lost some pitches, and then I had to kind of go at him, and I didn't want to leave anything over the plate, and then it was just pretty unfortunate with the at-bat to Upton.
Is there a mentality at all that goes into pitching with a big lead, or as a starting pitcher, do you personally try to block it out and try to pitch as if it's 0-0?
I think once we get a lead, I think it's my job to keep the lead and kind of just bury him and keep the pressure on them and throw the ball over the plate. And I thought for the most part I did a good job with that, and just some situations that I could have done better.
Obviously, we went with Matt Manning instead of Kyle Funkhauser, but Manning required the bullpen when he came out of the game after 4 2/3, up 10-2. And I was among the surprised that 1 out away from qualifying for a major league win, he was taken out of the game. That surprised you as well?
Yeah, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, oh, please get him through this. Just at that time, you know, Tigers were just cruising, and I felt for him going, oh, man, you know, just to get that win. But George Lombard had to come and get him, and that's what A.J. Hinch was really fighting for out there, was he's going to protect those young pitchers, and his pitch count was up to 95 pitches, and he had been up and down 5 different times, and it was some stressful, high-pressure situations that Matt Manning was involved in, and that's why they just said, I can't leave him out any longer. I've got to get him out of that game and protect that right arm, and that's why he came out of that game.
All right, we'll look ahead to tomorrow when we come back, and your tomorrow also includes, and here's the good news, a stop at Arby's, because anytime the Tigers find their way to 3 runs or more, and they did that and then some today, you're invited to visit any participating the following day for a free small order of curly fries.
That's okay. Farms isn't your typical farm. Sure, it looks like a farm. And
14 hits and scored 10 runs. It's impossible not to factor in the scoring. Oh, no, it's not. Simo wins the day with his selection of Jeimer Candelario. And there's Shep and there's Dan among the big winners. And there is one loser. And, you know, I don't necessarily feel really bad. I was afraid that I was going to pass Johnny Kane into last place, and Johnny's not even playing today.
You'll get him tomorrow, because I know you. You'll go home. You'll study all the scouting reports on Robbie Ray. Get it all figured out for the 6th pick tomorrow.
After a day like this, have we met before? I'm not sure that's the case. The upcoming schedule is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. The Tigers will fly to Toronto, and you'll all know that the Blue Jays weren't playing games in Toronto until fairly recently. But there is the upcoming pitching matchup. 3 lefties the Blue Jays will throw at the Tigers in this series.
You know, the thing about it is the Tigers have a lot of right-handed hitters in the switch hitting variety that are better average-wise from the right side, so it's going to be very interesting for those right-handers to do a good job.
Now, Robbie Ray's an interesting guy, a guy that was a former Tiger. He was acquired for Doug Fisker and ultimately traded away in a 3-corner deal with Arizona and the Yankees that brought Shane Green to Detroit back in the day.
And really has become a really good pitcher. You know, it was just kind of not quite there yet when he was here, and after he's gone, he's really turned into a good pitcher.
All right, all you can do is turn the page, and the Tigers will do that. They'll get a meal on the plane and find their way into a different country. Maybe getting to a different country is what they need right now, because they led 10-2, and then all of a sudden this one went sideways. Miggy did pick up a couple of hits in this game, but not the big hit that we wanted to see. Will Friday be Miggy Day on the road for the Tigers? We shall see. For Dan Petrie alongside, and for Shep and Simo upstairs, and all of us at Valley Sports, I'm John Keating. Thanks for watching. Good night from downtown Detroit.
That's a Chromebook.